Warning, this podcast contains spoilers for Home for the Holidays, The Ice Storm, and A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. Nicole, I got a little game for you today.
Okay.
So I would like to know from the movies we watched, which of any of the characters would have brought whatever side dish I'm going to ask you about. Okay, ready? And
Yep.
I'd like to know how it turned out.
Okay.
So we're just going to do a few.
All right.
Cranberry sauce.
Aunt Gladdy.
Ooh, was it good?
No.
No, it would be awful, right? It probably
Yeah.
have jelly beans in it.
Well, it's from a can. It's got covered in cat hair and
Topped with M&Ms.
topped with M&Ms.
All right, who's bringing the pickle plate? That's a big thing in my family. It's like the olives and pickles and picking things.
I'm going to say Janie and Jim Carver.
Okay.
And
They seem they're way too preoccupied to cook anything.
Yep. And they're literally just going to be,
Open
honestly,
bottles.
it's just going to be the cans of pickles
Jars.
on a tray, and they're going to hand it to whoever and be like,
Do this.
sorry, just however you want to arrange it, just do it.
Right.
And it's got ashed cigarettes
Yeah,
all
yeah.
over it. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, cool. One more, maybe two. We'll do sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes. That is definitely a Snoopy and Woodstock job.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome, but it's going to be covered in marshmallows.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
Give me the marshmallows.
Totally.
All right, one more stuffing.
Stuffing is going to be Clyde and Tommy are going to work on that together.
Cute.
Day of. It's going to
Aw.
be a disaster.
Yeah.
And there's going to be like one serving of it by the end of the day.
And the whole kitchen's going to be covered in stuffing.
And they are
ingredients.
also going to be covered in
And they're
stuffing.
just laughing and high and nothing got done.
Yep.
All right. Cool. Hey, welcome to Hear Me Out. I'm Aileen.
I'm Nicole.
On today's episode, gratitude collides with passive aggression. The turkey's dry, the green bean casserole is stuffed with family secrets, everything's smothered in gravy, gaslighting, and suburban despair. So buckle up. I guess grab toast. We're having toast. And can someone please pass the generational trauma? That was absurd. Let's eat dead bird.
Hey.
How are you doing today, Nicole?
I'm great. How are
That's
you
awesome.
doing?
I cannot complain. Are you excited for Thanksgiving?
Yes,
Yeah.
I am. And by the time everyone's hearing this, I'm sure I had a wonderful Thanksgiving. How about you?
I'm excited. We're keeping it low key like always. And you know, I love Thanksgiving food. So
Yes,
it's my favorite.
I know.
So let's start this off kind of messed up.
Okay.
Thanksgiving's fucked up, right?
Yeah.
It truly is.
Yep.
So the Alliance Feast, which is the tale that we all know as the first Thanksgiving, it overshadows the history of brutality and betrayal of the Native American people by European settlers and the subsequent American government by genocide, ethnic cleansing, stealing land, forced removal. Yeah, the bad stuff.
Yeah.
So also that meal, that Alliance Feast, it happened, but nobody gave a shit about it. Nobody cared about it until Lincoln proposed it as a holiday during the Civil War just to unite the country. So chill out, everybody.
Thanksgiving and
Yes, exactly. What do you feel about Thanksgiving?
So I'm very fortunate to have a family that just likes to take time to spend time together.
I love that.
So it's usually not a stressful holiday.
Nice.
Yes. And it is typically the only holiday my grandma wants to celebrate anymore. She's kind of the boss of the family.
She canceled all the other holidays.
She did, or she doesn't want to
She just wants nothing to do.
participate. So then they become kind of a smaller affair. So
I have a lot of respect for that.
Yeah.
I want to do that.
Yeah, and it's always been her favorite holiday, so that's the one she wants to see the most people in the family that she can. So we all just gather out at my aunt's property out in the country. At this point, not a lot of people come in from out of town, so it's just the people from the local area, and we all
Okay.
just head out there for the day or the weekend or whatever we can pull off. That's another great thing is the unspoken rule is kind of whatever time you can spare for this gathering, just do that.
No expectations.
Yeah, exactly. So even if you can only go out there for a few hours, or if you can stay out there for the weekend, whatever.
It's so peaceful out there.
Yeah, we eat and we hang out and we don't watch football. And
Fuck yeah.
there's not a lot of screens happening, and
Yeah.
there's usually a lot of dogs, and walks in the woods. It's really chill. We don't have to do a lot of back and forths between families, which is just
such a pain in the
seems like
ass.
such a nightmare. So it's like actually pretty pleasant.
I love that.
We don't buy into the whole alliance feast thing.
Yeah.
So we really do just try to hang out and talk about the things we're thankful for and spend time with family.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's what it's for.
How about you?
You know, I was a military brat, moved around a bunch. There wasn't a tradition that we did every year. I had family back home in Philly, and I've done a few times I've done Thanksgiving there, and it was kind of that idealistic, what you'd picture for Thanksgiving. Kind of, I think I romanticized it a little. I wanted that really bad, and it wasn't what we were doing.
Sure.
One year we went to the officer club, the O Club, and just had a very generic pre-made thing and did no dishes, nothing. We just went and then it was over. Just me and my mom. I did one in California with some family in Willits, which is in the mountains. There was just tons and tons of food. Everybody seemed to be having such a great time. I know now as an adult that they were all high as hell, but it was that's another idealistic one. I only did that once. One time when I lived in Japan, we gathered with some other people who lived around there, military people, and we deep fried like 3 to 5 turkeys, I think.
That's so
and had like a
neat.
picnic. It was
like
great.
that.
Yeah. Done Friendsgiving when you're in your 20s and you're not ready to be a grown up, but you want to kind of play grown up with your friends. And that was always fun. This year and the last few years, I've spent it with my in-laws, my husband's cousin and her kids and husband. And that's just a really great time too. So I think what I realized is that the tradition that I felt like I was missing, the tradition for me is that there is no tradition. And I've now allowed myself to not have to do it. I don't have to do anything for Thanksgiving. I'm a grown up. That was a really weird thing to accept, being told, hey, guess what? You don't have to do that. I was like, wait, who gave you permission?
Right.
But yeah, sometimes I just don't do Thanksgiving at all. And that's fine too.
Ooh, that is nice.
It's real peaceful.
Yep.
And it's different than when I would miss out on Thanksgiving when I was younger and be like, wow, I feel like I'm missing something.
Yeah, there's something really nice about being in a headspace where you can enjoy spending a day that's usually, I don't know, it's expected that you are in a chaotic family situation. It's really nice when you can appreciate that alone time.
Yeah.
I actually got to spend last Thanksgiving by myself, and I do say got to
Yeah.
because I chose
It's
to
a
not
luxury.
go to family Thanksgiving. I had a bunch of stuff to do, and it enabled me having the day off, sort of is how I considered it. It was really lovely.
The older you get, the more you really value that alone time, that downtime.
Yep.
And I mean, I love it. I look forward to it.
Me too.
And also, I tried to make my Aunt Sherry's creamed pearl onions every year because they're my favorite dish. But sometimes they don't get made, and that's okay. So should we talk about privileged white people and their problems?
Please.
Okay. So the movie that I picked is Home for the Holidays. My mom showed me this when I was young, and it just sort of stuck. It reminds me of my mom. Jodie Foster directed it, and she reminds me of my mom. This is her, I think, second directorial role. She directed Little Man Tate, which has a cast member from the movie you chose.
Ooh.
We'll get into that. She directed Beaver. So that was the one with Mel Gibson where he has some sort of psychotic break and can only communicate through a beaver puppet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it funny?
I don't know.
or
I've never
not?
seen it, but I watched the preview and I was like, I kind of want to watch this. And she's in that too.
I really want to see that.
And then she did direct Money Monster, which
Ew.
it has Jackie Boy in it. And that was okay. Not great, but definitely not a bad movie at all. She said that the movie is supposed to feel like when you're in your 30s and you're still attached to your family, your parents, you feel like a child when you're there. They kind of infantilize you. But at the same time, you're sort of searching for meaning. Like you've maybe are trying to figure out your own traditions, your found family. And then you're asking yourself, did I choose this life? Is this the life that I wanted? Why am I here? Who are these fucking people? So it's in that weird limbo stage where I think we were just talking about, we're kind of beyond that, right? Yep. So it's right before that. So it's based on a less emotional short story where the gay brother actually isn't gay in the short story. I think it's much less involved. It's much more just an observation of a Thanksgiving meal. This movie has a crazy ensemble cast that, in my opinion, carries a kind of weak screenplay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, good.
I think, a lesser cast would
be a boring movie, I think.
Yep.
Cast members in this, we've got Holly Hunter, Robert Downey Jr., Anne Bancroft, Charles Durning, Geraldine Chaplin, I love her, Dylan McDermott, Steve Guttenberg, Claire Danes, David Strathairn, Austin Pendleton. A lot of them have really small roles, but they are famous people that you will recognize their faces. I honestly can't think of anyone in this movie that I didn't recognize their face, except for one, and we'll get there when I get to that person. Even the smallest cast members, I recognize in this movie. Collectively, the cast has 14 Oscar nominations, 2 wins, 35 Golden Globe nominations, 13 wins, 33 Emmy nominations, 8 wins. That's a lot.
That's incredible.
These are really talented folks. Holly Hunter plays Claudia Larson. She also goes by Clyde. That's kind of her family nickname. She lives in Chicago, and she's a conservator restorer at the museum there. The whole premise of the movie is she's getting ready to go to her family Thanksgiving in Baltimore. The opening scene is a very detailed restoration of a piece of art. I think Rusted Root's a little silly, but it's perfect for the time, right? That 90s.
Yeah.
They go into sort of techniques that you wouldn't know are used for restoration. And then her boss calls her away from this, and she is telling him just how she is feeling really great about where she is right now, how everything feels like the stars have aligned. This is where she belongs.
I've never been in the flow this much before.
Exactly.
I'm finally feeling it.
Right. And it's a long thing. And then she just looks at him and she's like, "What's wrong, Peter?" And he goes, "You're fired, Claudia. I have to."
It's like,
she's
knew
like,
it was coming.
Okay. And then from there, it's just rapid fire kind of crazy, unfortunate things are happening for poor Clyde. Daughter is played by Claire Danes. Her name's Kit. She's a 16-year-old only daughter of single mom, Clyde. She does not want to go, and her mom really wants her to go. The only people in her family that I think she really feels good around is her daughter, Kit, and her brother, Tommy. And neither of them are going to this. So that's also bringing her down. As she's being dropped off, her daughter's about to pull away from dropping her off. And she goes, "Oh, Mom, I'm going to have sex with Tim," who's her boyfriend. And Holly Hunter's like, okay, I guess. Bye then. Also, Holly Hunter really reminds me of my mom in this movie too. And I get the vibe that she really just wants Kit to be happy.
Yeah.
And she's done, clearly Kit seems really well-rounded just for the few minutes that you meet her. But I get the vibe that she doesn't do necessarily what's best for her daughter so much as what makes her happy in that moment.
Sure.
And I would have been like, yeah, you're 16, you're coming with me to Baltimore for family Thanksgiving. And if my kid was like, "Okay, bye, Mom, I'm going to have sex with Tim," I'd be like, "Canceled trip. Let's reschedule." No. And I mean, 16-year-olds have sex and that's normal, but parents shouldn't be like, "Okay." And I know that probably isn't what she wanted to do, but it's kind of how that scene went. She just sort of smiles and then leaves for Baltimore, leaving her daughter in the hands of Tim. In the airport, she drops her stylish coat that fits her. It gets trampled on. Nobody picks it up or says you dropped anything. It's very 90s. She walks by a bank of payphones. Yeah. And they're just filled with other people that are kind of in the same exact situation as her. You hear phrases like, Mom, please accept that I do my own laundry now." And my personal favorite, "I'm sorry, there is not a nuclear robot on the moon. So what if there was?"
Oh my God.
And you could just tell these people look like they're over it just as much as she is.
It's the travel chaos trope, like
Right.
the travel during the holidays trope. Like,
Right.
Everything's crazy.
Exactly. She doesn't like flying already. She has said that. She's sitting next to basically someone just like her mom, a very gabby person that she doesn't want to be talking to, who wants to talk to her a lot. There's the phones in the back of the headrests on these airplane seats. Remember those from the
Mhm.
90s and
Oh, yeah.
2000s, early
You'd like
2000s?
pop it out with a
Pre-cell
little
phones.
button.
Yeah, you could swipe your
Your
card.
card.
So she calls her brother who doesn't answer, and she leaves a kind of neurotic message where she just sort of spills what's happening. You know, Kit's going to have sex with somebody. I got fired, and then I made out with my boss. And then she's like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this to a machine. Delete this, delete this. It's interesting because this movie is so 90s. You could not make it today.
Yep, that's another. I have this whole list of pre 9/11, pre COVID travel, all this crazy stuff just in this airport
Quick scene, yeah.
scene. It's so funny. There's like payphones. There's all this travel craziness. There's losing
No
an
security.
item of clothing. No security. This phone on the airplane. Dumping your guts on someone's answering machine and then being like,
hoping
oh, can you just not listen to that?
Right.
Her parents meet her at
pick
the
her
gate.
up at the gate.
So when you walk off a plane, having the people that are coming to get you just at the
Right
top
there.
of the ramp.
Yeah.
That's so
One
crazy.
time my godmother brought my dog.
Yeah, I was going to say my grandma brought my cat to pick me
Oh,
up from
that's
the
cool.
airport
I
once.
think
Yep,
that's
yep.
neat.
And she's sick. So
Oh, yeah, she is.
that is the pre-COVID travel thing. She's sneezing
Right.
and coughing all over this plane.
You're right.
And everyone's just like, oh, dearie, do you need a tissue? Meanwhile, they'd be like, throw her off the plane these days.
So she gets picked up by her parents, who are Anne Bancroft and Charles Durning. They play Adele and Henry Larson.
So cute.
They're really cute. So we know Charles Durning, because he's been in 200 productions, films, plays, TV shows. I personally think of Pappy O'Daniel from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou when I see him, but he's been around a lot longer than that. Same with Anne Bancroft. I think of her from Great Expectations, Dracula Dead and Loving It. There was another one she was in that's really popular. But I mean, she's been in tons and tons of stuff. And she's been acting since 1952. But I remember her from more recent stuff. Oh, The Graduate.
Yes.
So there's a lot of love between this family. It is a bit dysfunctional. Obviously, that's the point of the movie. But it's not an extremely toxic environment.
Yeah.
There's love there.
Yes.
These parents love their kids. There's a cat at the parents' house. His name is Frank. And he is a Tortie Maine Coon. And I could not find the name of the cat who played him. But he is present throughout the whole film.
Credit your cat
Credit
actors,
your
please.
cats. Oh, there is a cat that walks across the street in the movie, too.
Cute.
So, 2 cats.
It's a really realistic, I think,
Very.
a pretty realistic representation of a family that isn't the epitome of a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
But, you know.
It's very 90s.
Yeah, it is.
It's that generational trauma, you
For
know.
sure.
They're not bad. They just don't know any better, which isn't okay
Yep.
necessarily, but it's also, this was before people were trying to start break cycles, right?
Yes, it's the kind of thing where this doesn't happen in the movie, but the adult children their parents would say something off color, and the adult children would probably say something like, guys, we don't talk like that anymore. We don't
Right.
say that anymore. But it's not because anyone's doing anything out of malice.
Harmful.
Or,
Yeah. And oftentimes those adults will be like,
back in my day. And
Or
then it
they'll get
devolves into
really
some
defensive.
story and, whatever.
So her brother Tommy ends up showing up at parents' Thanksgiving unexpected because he said he wasn't coming, and sort of surprises everybody. He shows up in the middle of the night while everyone's asleep, sneaks into the house.
Like a little robber.
Yes, he's got a friend with him that no one knows, and he's not a friend of the family. This is a new friend. And they come into the house, go upstairs, sneak around. This man who doesn't know these people is upstairs. Tommy goes into Clyde's room, pulls the covers off of her. She's wearing jammies and underpants, no real clothes. And he just takes Polaroid pictures of her.
So crazy.
And she attacks him. You could tell this is the dynamic that he's.
She swats him like, Tommy.
Yeah. And this is what he do.
Mm-hmm.
He is a shit disturber. Robert Downey Jr. plays Tommy, and his performance is so stupid good.
It's great.
It is really good. It's so good. So Tommy he's the gay brother of Claudia. The reason that I even say that is because it does come up later.
It's a plot point.
there's no conflict with his sexuality. He's not having some major coming out experience. He's not struggling to accept himself. He has peers that in his world that accept him. He loves himself and his life. That's not how gay people were portrayed in movies in the 90s.
Yeah.
And if anything progressive was being portrayed, it was dying from AIDS or coming out, things like that. This man is beyond all that. Jodie Foster said this character's in his 30s. He's beyond self-acceptance. He is a happy person. His conflict now is that he's got a chosen family. He references that in the film.
Yeah.
He now has to learn how to accept his family, the people that raised him and he grew up with. That's his struggle.
Yeah. And he does a great job of embodying that without having to say hardly any of it.
Exactly.
He exudes that confidence really easily.
Mm-hmm.
And that character, it's not played up as a gay character. It's just who he is. And all of that comes out without him ever really having to say any of that. And some of that gets brought up later.
Yes.
It's what moves the plot along in the movie, but it's not played for anything other than just like family dynamics.
There is a little bit of homophobia from a member of his family, and he lets it roll off his back. Mm-hmm. He's annoyed that she sucks. Mm-hmm. And is dealing with the family stuff, but he is fazed one bit by the things that she says about him. Yeah. Does not affect him. So Robert Downey Jr. said that this is one of his favorite movies, and he was really impressed with his own performance. I think he was surprised that it was so good because he admitted that he was using heroin while he was on set. He actually said he was altered more often than he wasn't, and that this was the first time he had done that on screen. Jodie Foster said that she was aware of his drug problem, but she also said he was always present. He gave 100%. He never disappointed her. And she knew that he was struggling and maybe even killing himself, but she never felt disappointment and frustration with him. One day, she shut down the set because he couldn't make words. He wasn't making sense. She was like, we're ahead of schedule. We're doing great. Let's everybody take a day. Oh. She also said that his family did have an intervention for him after this, which I believe was his first, not his last. Probably, though, his first step into that path of recovery.
Wow. Jodie.
I know. I love her.
You're the best.
He said she was one of the best directors he'd ever worked with.
She just seems great.
And he also said it was his first female director.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, a good one to have.
Yes, for real.
And that being an actor and directing, every actor says that they wish their director had been an actor too.
Sure.
So the friends that he brought with him is named Leo Fish, and he's played by Dylan McDermott. He works with Tommy, and we find out throughout the movie that he kind of has a crush on Clyde based off of a photo that he saw of her. Now,
oh, Leo.
it's a bit disappointing, Leo, because we do find out that is a naked picture because Tommy has a bit of a problem when it comes to taking fucking naked pictures of his sister. It's a joke. He thinks it's funny, but it's also like that didn't age well, right?
No.
That's like, don't
It's also
do
just
that.
So unnecessary. It's just such a weird part of the movie.
It is really strange.
I don't understand. It doesn't bother me to the extreme.
Right.
But it is like, what is
Why
happening
are we doing
here?
This? Right.
And there's a lot of Mom Adele gets undressed in front of Clyde and just gives this sad little speech at one point and then walks away. It's like, what? And Tommy's always taking pictures of her either undressed or in a state of undress or shower.
Always in some kind of like compromised position.
Adele again is like sitting and just having a chat while Clyde is in the shower.
Yeah.
And just like, what's happening with this family and nudity? It's I'm body positivity, whatever. Just maybe some boundaries. Never really got drawn there with this family.
I relate to this. My mom did that a lot to me. And I remember just being like, could you put some clothes on? But as an adult with a child, I've been we don't practice nudity like that in my family. But I've definitely not had a shirt on, just had a bra on. And Mariah would be like, Mom. And I'm like, I was subjected to so much worse. Right? But I get it.
The cold breasts, Mama, and everybody has them.
Clyde thinks she's assuming that Leo Fish is Tommy's new boyfriend. She assumes because they've showed up together that the man that she knows Tommy to have been with, Jack, they must have had a breakup and this is his new fling or something like that. That's her assumption. She does not know and she cannot tell that he has a thing for her. They get sent to go pick up some groceries. Tommy is driving them around in his muscle car. He starts to tell this story about a time that Leo Fish broke his nose. It's really elaborate. It's pretty great. Once they get in the car, so he starts telling the story outside of the car. They get in the car. That starts a scene that's a few minutes long. He is completely improvising that scene. And so basically Jodie Foster was like, you can do what you want. Just get there. Yeah. Get to the mark, which is a very important mark. And it would be that you slam on your brakes. And at that, you have to give her a cue so that she says, stop, and then you slam on your brakes.
Yeah.
So he improvised this whole scene. It's insane. It's really so detailed. It's disgusting. I don't know how he pulled this stuff from his brain. It's amazing. And then he just says, I'm trying to remember the exact words, but he's like, it smelled like a horse's butt flap. And he sticks his hand right in Clyde's face right before he's supposed to slam on his brakes. And she goes, stop. It's perfect. One take.
Wow.
Yep.
So
on drugs. Yeah, it's crazy.
I want to go back and watch it knowing that now, except it's really nasty. And I don't want to listen to what he's saying.
It's so gross, but it's so funny. It
is good.
She's like, okay, I've had enough. She gets out of the car and she's carrying these bags of groceries. She's wearing this pink old 80s parka. Puffy
shoulders.
You can imagine it. And
it's like mid-calf length. It's
I'm like pretty sure my grandma had the same coat. So she's lugging these things and Tommy is driving kind of behind her and she's dropping groceries. He runs over a Pringles can. People pull up in a sort of
BMW
convertible and a woman says, Claudia Larson? And Claudia looks and she's like, Jenny Johnson Drewer.
From high school?
And Claudia goes, Jenny Johnson, homecoming queen? And she's like, yes, Claudia Larson, most likely to succeed. And they just have a really condescending sort of back and forth conversation. And they are played by Amy Yazbek and Celeste Lassen. Amy Yazbek, you might remember from Problem Child 1 and 2, Wings, Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Marion.
And also Dracula Dead and Loving It, which that's how I learned literature. And also the widow of John Ritter.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah, not Jason Ritter's mom, though.
Wow.
But
okay,
yeah.
Okay.
And Celeste Lassen, this is their only part in this film.
Yeah,
it's seconds,
10,
maybe?
Yeah, 10 seconds. And do they even have a line?
I think they say, likewise, Claudia.
Okay.
Because she's like, gone long time.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And so it turns out that actor is not only an actor, they're also an author, a screenwriter, an LGBT rights activist that is best known for co-creating the Academy Award-winning short film Trevor.
What?
And for co-creating the Trevor Project.
What?
Yes.
Whoa.
I will talk more about it, but the Trevor Project, if you don't know, it founded a hotline, a suicide hotline for LGBTQ plus youth.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. How
huge.
Wow. Just wow.
I know. And so I had no clue, and that came out of nowhere. And that's, I think, my most exciting find, honestly, for this.
That's really cool. And what I don't even know if you'd call it an Easter egg, but what an interesting little nugget in this film that seems very appropriate for, a Jodie Foster film.
Agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
It's cool.
Claudia and Tommy and Leo are sent to pick up Aunt Gladdy. She is kooky as fuck. She is maybe on the border of slipping off the edge of sanity into dementia.
Yeah.
She's just nutty. She's played by Geraldine Chaplin. Geraldine Chaplin is the daughter of Charles Chaplin.
What?
Charlie Chaplin.
You're just making my brain explode with all these crazy facts.
There was a movie came out in 92 where Robert Downey Jr. actually played Chaplin.
Uh-huh.
And she played her own grandmother in that film.
Aww.
I know.
That's
kind of cool. I think her little one-liners are probably my favorite lines. Most of my favorite lines come from her. I don't like a lot of lipstick. Your mother uses too much of that orange hoop all the prostitutes love. She just says crazy shit. She's also giving away all her stuff. She gives
So many
lamps away.
She gives
Yeah.
a ton of lamps
So she gives
away.
Claudia a lamp, and Claudia's like, okay, thanks.
It's like
And
a large
it's
lamp.
large, but I think she just ends up leaving it at her mom's because you could see her plugging it in there. So they get in the car to leave. It's very cramped. Everybody's tight. Then someone farts, very long, drawn out. I think there's 2 farts, actually. Leo whispers sort of loudly to Clyde, was that you? And she's like, no. And like nods at Gladdy. And it's uncomfortable for a second. There's a brief pause. And then she just goes, how fast can you go, Tommy? And he goes, like the wind, honey. And then takes off. Love that part.
Funny.
Oh, man, she really does that role so well, doesn't she?
It's such a good character.
Such a good character. Back at the house, we meet another character.
Mm-hmm.
This is Russell Terziak, and he's played by David Strathairn, who I know from A League of Their Own and A Midsummer Night's Dream, and Simon Birch, which is from the book A Prayer for Oamini, and also from Silkwood.
And Godzilla.
Of course.
The 2014
I know,
Godzilla, which is so good,
I know, it just isn't the one that I think of. Mostly when I think of him, I immediately think of A League of Their Own. But he was also in Silkwood, which is funny because Tommy makes a reference to his mom. He says, go take a Silkwood shower. And I don't know if you've seen Silkwood, you know that a Silkwood shower means a detoxifying scrub.
Not funny shower.
Not a good time shower. Yeah. He is the saddest sack that ever was. Russell Terziak is Clyde's high school fling. I don't even think they were really together. And her mom really, really wants to see these two end up together. So she's like, Claudia, come into the furnace room and see what's in here. She goes in there and sees Russell is kind of leaned over the furnace saying things like, I don't know, it looks pretty fine. It looks like you've got, 25 pounds per square inch pressure. He's like, yeah, my brother and sister up and moved away. My parents died in a car accident. So, I've got nobody and I'm alone. He just keeps stressing that. And she's so like, but didn't you have a girlfriend? He's like, yeah, she up and left with my best friend. He just has it really bad. Yeah. And
you can tell he's like kind of fishing to see if she's going to like what she's going to do with that information, or if she's going to invite him to stay.
Right.
She's trying to be sympathetic without giving that.
Yes.
You can tell she does not want that around at all. But he does get a page to come fix someone else's furnace. And he's like, oh, look at that. Someone else needs me. They really need me. He's like,
everybody needs me.
He's like, oh, wait. But also, just so you know, I am very important in the world of HVAC.
Don't you worry.
So, yeah, I'll be just fine.
Oh, poor Russell.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the end of him. But it's a perfect little 1 minute cameo. I mean, it's not a cameo technically, but he is a well-known actor in a very small part. And Frank sits next to him the whole time he's working in the furnace room. Frank is in the background of most scenes of this movie that are taking place in the house.
I believe he wasn't credited.
It's a mess because I think he has more screen time than a lot of people. This is when we meet Tommy and Clyde's sister, Joanne, and her husband, Walter, and their 2 kids, Walter Jr. and Brittany Lace. You would recognize, played by Cynthia Stevenson plays Joanne. Steve Guttenberg plays Walter, and he does this role perfectly. Yeah. You might recognize him from Police Academy, 3 Men and a Baby, 3 Men and a Little Lady, those ones, Cocoon, Short Circuit. You may not recognize Cynthia Stevenson from anything.
Nope, sure didn't.
I recognized her face, but I looked at her whole filmography and I was like, I don't know what this is. So they drive up and they notice in front of the house is Tommy's car. And Walter says, I was told he wouldn't be here. I need a minute to collect myself. They can't stand Tommy because Tommy is Tommy and Tommy knows they can't. And so he goes harder on them. But Tommy starts to head outside. But as they pull up and Tommy sees them from the window, he immediately is like, yeah, let's get him. Like he is stoked. And he goes outside and they lock the doors of the car. Oh, wait, hold on. Are we trapped in a fucking car?
What?
We are trapped in a fucking car in a zombie apocalypse. Well, not necessarily. And I don't know. Did you bring some stuff?
I'm going to go through a giant list of things that we have and more things that I'm going to bring.
Yes.
Okay, I am trapped in a car and I wish...
You're trapped in a fucking car.
I'm trapped in a fucking car and I wish I had. I've already forgotten what day is.
Air conditioning.
Fucking Jesus. I am trapped in a fucking car and I wish I had air conditioning, batteries, a charcuterie board, Millie the dog, every nail file in my house, fireworks, gin, gum, helium, an ice maker, Jack O'Connell.
He's there for me.
Ketamine. Both of us we can share. Don't be rude.
Fine.
Lasso of Truth, Wonder Woman's. Marijuana, a naughty novel, opium,
Yep. And that's where we left off.
and pickleball.
Fuck yeah. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trapped in a fucking car and I wish I had air conditioning, batteries, charcuterie board, my dog Millie, every nail file in Nicole's house, fireworks, gin and gum, helium, an ice maker, Jack O'Connell, ketamine, the lasso of truth, Wonder Woman's, marijuana. Did you say N? Was it the naughty novel?
Mm-hmm.
And opium,
Mm-hmm.
pickleball,
Mm-hmm.
Q. Okay. So I have a thing that I like to do and I want to do, and I think you probably know I like to bring drugs and explosives.
Yes.
But there's something I want more than Quaaludes.
What?
Q-tips.
Honestly, they're going to be far more handy than Quaaludes unless we just wanted to die. So
And we already have a lot of drugs.
Q-tips is a really good one.
Right?
Yeah,
I think it's necessary.
I think so too.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to bring one more thing.
Yeah.
Aside from air conditioning, battery, charcuterie board, Millie the dog, every nail file in my house, fireworks, gin, gum, helium, ice maker, Jack O'Connell, ketamine.
No. Eliminate JK. Yep. Sorry. Go.
Ketamine, lasso of truth, marijuana, naughty novel, opium, pickleball, Q-tips, and ranch dressing.
Fuck yeah. Wait, we have charcuterie board and ranch dressing.
Yep.
We got to start bringing more food.
We're going to be just fine, I
I
think.
think you're right. I think you're right. Cool.
All right.
That was fun. We'll come back to that again next time.
Sounds good.
So they get out of the car now. As they're walking inside, Claudia is outside greeting everyone with Leo. Joanne walks up and Leo's like, "Hi, I'm Leo Fish. Can I help you?" And she's like, "What? Who are you?" She's so rude. And he walks away and she says to Claudia, "I guess congratulations are in order." And Claudia says, "No, he's with Tommy. I think something awful happened between Tommy and Jack." And Joanne says, "Yeah, and everyone knows it." And that's it. But it does come back later. So the men are all sitting in the living room, sort of just sitting around as men do on Thanksgiving, while the women folk are in the kitchen frantically organizing like what goes where. And Claudia's just there. She doesn't have that jump and panic and makes everything perfect. This scene, it was triggering for some traumatic memories of holidays and gatherings around my grandma's house where literally all the boys are watching football. Meanwhile, Grandma and Faith and me are in the kitchen, like kind of frantically trying to do everything and organize and make this thing perfect that it ends in an hour and nobody gives a shit anyway. And it wasn't a good time. I remember watching this thinking, I think I'm like Joanne when I was younger. I think I'm a little frantic. And then I watch this now and I definitely think I was more of a Claudia, which isn't necessarily a good thing.
Sure.
She's not being helpful.
Yeah.
She's
just
not
a body that's in the way a little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
And I mean, I get that Joanne may be the extreme on the other side. She does things like, "I can't do everything." And Claudia's like, nobody's asking you to do everything. And that's true.
But do something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And as it unfolds, I think I start to see Clyde in a different light. But in the scene in the living room, Tommy looks at Aunt Gladdy and says, "That's a sporty necklace. Did you make it yourself?" And Gladdy holds her necklace out and goes, "Fruit Loops." It is a Fruit Loop necklace. Aunt Gladdy, with no children,
like a child,
is wearing a child's Fruit Loop necklace that she made.
Oh, boy.
So Thanksgiving starts. Finally, Gladdy sings her little grace song, which is really sweet. Actually, when Adele is sitting on the toilet while Claudia's showering in the very beginning of that scene, she's humming. And I noticed this time when I watch it that she's humming the song that Gladys sings for Grace.
That's nice.
And it shows they're kind of a little more connected than
just talking shit on each other.
Which is, like Adele tells her, I don't like that color on you, and the whole lipstick thing. There's love there too. Then
2 turkeys, by the way.
There's too much food. They brought so much food. 2 different sweet potatoes because Joanne had to bring all her fancy stuff. Henry's going to carve the turkey, but he's really struggling. And Adele's like, let someone else do it. Let Tommy do it. And he's like, I can carve a turkey and I can play my organ. And then Gladys jumps up and goes, you're the best thing on 2 legs, Henry Larson. And just starts to chug her wine. And everybody's like, uh-oh. This is when Gladys, kind of out of nowhere and in a way that you know that this is not her normal Thanksgiving speech, proclaims her love that she's harbored for Henry, her sister's husband, since she was 18.
I mean, for her whole life.
Yeah.
Since the first time she saw him.
Yes. So they met at a Thanksgiving that Adele brought him to her family house when she was I think in like 20 or something. And because she says, I was 18 and he was only 21. So they were technically adults, but they were babies. And then she says she even remembers his tickly mustache. And she kissed it. So she says it was one Christmas Eve. So it was separate time from the day that they met.
Seeing him.
But you find out later because they do show some images of past that it was under mistletoe. So I don't think it was this big cheating scandal thing. I really don't. I think it was just a sweet thing and she ran with it.
Yeah, I mean, Adele says, when was that? He admits to it and not in a way that's like,
it's not it doesn't turn into a big thing.
Not a big
that
thing.
Kind of ends there.
Right. It's just her sort of sharing this information for definitely the first time because everyone has an absolutely shocked look on their face. Henry has a look on his face of surprise in a way that's like, wow, this is really beautiful and also pretty sad. But he also, he got a little lost in his prayer. So it seems like he's also slipping into this older mind area. And so I think he's appreciating what she's kind of doing here. Adele doesn't seem furious.
She doesn't, but I also think that she does a lot of stuffing her feelings.
Definitely.
But she's never like, well, now I have to deal with this whole thing with my husband.
Right.
It's not like that.
Because at the end of it, Gladys does say, he seemed like the man that could make all my dreams come true. And then he did because he made all of my sister's dreams come true. Yeah. And I think she does mean that.
I do too.
And I think Adele believes her.
Yeah.
Sees that she means that. So it's an insane moment.
It is.
But I do think everybody, they're going to have to process it. But I don't think it's something they're all going to have to deal with.
No, it's not going to be it's not going to have a lot of lasting.
Right.
As a matter of fact, Gladys kind of just trails off after she chugs her wine and puts her head down, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, afterwards, Clyde goes, holy shit, and then we don't talk about it again. It's going to be the kind of thing that next Thanksgiving, they're going to go, remember when Aunt Gladys said that thing? And everyone's going to kind of chuckle, and that's probably going to be the end of it.
It has its funny moments in that part, but it's also quite sad.
Ooh, it's super tragic.
And most of the people at the table are like, this is uncomfortable, but Clyde and Leo are both quite touched, and you can tell that they relate to how she's feeling. It's funny. She leans very close to Brittany Lace and says, when to have someone so close to you that they're inside of you. She looks over to her mom and like mouths, mommy, like for help. Tommy ends up carving the turkey and accidentally, sort of maybe on purpose, launches the turkey across the table into Joanne's lap. And she screams, you cocksucker! And Brittany's like, you broke my mommy! So Clyde and Leo sort of pick the turkey up from her lap and remove it by taking it over her head, whereupon probably several cups of grease and chunks and giblets and all that fall onto her head and down her body.
So gross.
And she's screaming. Now, the continuity issue I have here is that her bangs go from like being full of grease and goop to dry back and forth a few times in the scene. And that pisses me off, but it's fine. And I get it. And whatever.
Time and budget, baby. Time
I get
and
it.
budget.
Moving on. She gets really upset, obviously, and says, I'm leaving. She starts to get upset. And Tommy says, can you just put it down so it gets better for once instead of worse? And I watched this as a kid and I was fully on the side of Tommy and Claudia the whole time. I'm a little bit on Joanne's side here. Yeah, she's a bitch and she's nasty about it, but I would be so fucking, I would not have stayed. I would have been like, fuck Thanksgiving, fuck all of you, I'm out.
I would have been gone probably before this
Yes.
for several reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, this would be, well, one, you're like disgusting.
You're covered in
disgusting.
disgust. Yes.
How could you?
She stays
It's
for the
probably
rest
in
of
your
the night.
tights. It's in your bra for sure because it's all over her chest. It's in your ears.
Yeah.
Like what?
Your hair.
Ew.
I know.
Ew.
And so she does.
Ew. It's greasy, so it's coagulating in
Yeah.
your hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she stays. She's mean at this point to Tommy. I mean, I would have been mean too, but she did go to a place that she shouldn't. This is where she starts being homophobic. So Tommy says to her, well, he takes pictures of her in this moment with his Polaroid, which is more exacerbating the situation, pouring fuel on it. So he shows the picture to his parents and says, think back like 100 years ago. Do you think that there's any chance that a baboon family had a baby and maybe they got switched in the hospital? This is when she's like, okay, Mrs. Gordon, and outs that he's married Jack publicly and that she is disgusted. Did you wear a dress? Yeah. Real mean, real bad homophobia comes out of her at this point.
Yeah. I mean, you don't out somebody.
No.
You don't do that. She did that.
Yep.
The siblings knew, but seemingly the parents did not because this is news to the parents.
They didn't know.
And
the siblings didn't know.
Well, Clyde knew.
Clyde didn't. Because she's...
No, I'm sorry. Clyde knew that he was gay.
Yes. The parents knew too. I think everybody knew he was gay. No one knew he was married.
Well, I got the impression that maybe they did not.
I think they knew and just kind of were like...
It was
sort of a
confirmation.
denial.
Yeah, okay.
Yes,
It was confirmation, like direct
because they knew about Jack.
Yeah.
And, you know.
It was one of those things where it's just like, well, that's his roommate.
We
and
just
his
pretend.
friend. And that's all we're going to leave it at.
But now we know for sure.
Right. Because
You're
later on,
You're
Jack is on the phone and you can see the dad
he
Henry
answers the
coming
phone,
to terms with it and being like, well, okay, this is this now.
Well, I was looking at the script kind of closely and I noticed that because he says, Tommy, did you wear a dress? And Tommy says, no. And he immediately goes, sorry. Like he's not trying to be a jerk. Yeah. He knows that, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Yeah. When he does answer the phone when Jack does call, he says, hello, Ross and residence. Anyway, he answers the phone when Jack calls and tells him, congratulations, you're a good kid. Yep. And
he said you deserve better.
He does say you deserve better. But Tommy's standing right there. You can tell it's sweet.
Yeah.
And then Tommy gets on the phone and is like, how's my real family? You can tell that he wants to be home. Filming took more than 10 days for the whole Thanksgiving scene, the table scene. Oh, fuck, it's already 10. They went through 64 turkeys, 20 pounds of mashed potatoes, 35 pounds of stuffing, 44 pies, 30 pounds of sweet potatoes, 18 bags of mini marshmallows, and 50 gallons of juice.
It's like that skit in I Think You Should Leave, and he's like, 55 hamburgers, 55 pizzas, 55 french fries, 55 shakes, 55. Yeah, it's really funny.
That's it. You're right.
That's so much food.
It is so much food. Somebody asked Claudia about her glamorous life, and she starts to kind of say, but Tommy's laughing, so she's like, why don't you tell him? And Tommy sort of repeats everything that she said on that answer, on that message that he had told her before I hadn't listened to. Yep. This upsets Adele, and she gets up and leaves. This is the straw. I think it's because in Adele's mind, Clyde has her shit figured out. Clyde's the one she doesn't have to worry about. And that just kind of confirmed that none of her kids are where she wants them to be.
Everyone is covered in turkey grease or fired from their job or having secret gay weddings.
Yes, exactly. Their kids are having sex. They're making out with their boss. Yes, yeah.
Things are a disaster.
Post dinner. Now, Joanne's still there, and she's still wearing that nasty dress. Now she's put baking soda on it and sort of cleaned it up a little, but she's still there. Clyde offers her something. She says, I got clothes if you want. Joanne goes, no, I like this dress. It's my favorite. I know you wouldn't be caught dead in it. No, dude, that's not at all what I meant.
Just like get out of the grease dress.
Right. But I do get that weird instinct when you're around your family to immediately go into defensive mode. So a relatable. It's weird because I've never really liked Joanne until just now, until I just researched this movie and looked at it totally differently. I feel very bad for Joanne, honestly. The boys go outside and play football while Henry is washing the car, and they get into, well, Walter just takes it too fucking seriously. It's literally 4 people playing a joke game of football in the yard during Thanksgiving, and he is taking it so seriously that him and Tommy get into a fight. And then the Wedman family takes off all dramatically, and things sort of calm down. This is when Jack calls, and now Adele wants them to take their shit back to Joanne. I would be like, can we just not tonight? Can we call
Seriously. it? Give her a break from us. Give us a break from her.
Yeah.
Let's all.
It's almost like let's keep it going.
Relax.
Like they like this.
Yes.
This comfort zone, maybe. I don't know. They send Clyde and Leo to do this because, well, now everybody's trying to get Clyde and Leo together.
Right. So now that we know Tommy and Jack are married, we know that Leo and Tommy are not together.
Yeah, Clyde knows for sure now.
And that is, it's now come out that Leo has, because Tommy listened to his messages, found out what a mess Clyde's life has been lately. He brought Leo along.
His little fragile sister.
Yeah. As a little bit of a setup, showed him a naked picture of
which
Clyde.
Clyde doesn't know that it's naked.
Not yet, but
she will.
She will. Gotta say, the moment we find out that Leo is a ploy, more or less, his character makes this flip into a character that I just don't like.
Same.
He was a really interesting, kind of quiet, funny, yep, kind of stepped in
like
at the last,
slightly flirtatious, not overly way.
In that way that's like, what?
This could be something, but I don't know.
Or like, aren't you with my brother? Like, what's happening here? But this, all right, this attention's fine with me, kind of thing, where you're side-eyeing the situation a little bit. Now it's just
blatant.
He's like, hey, what's up? So I've got a fantasy about you. Want to hear it? It's like, what the hell? And
she's
she
literally
says,
like,
no, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Ugh, yeah,
it's a bit too much. He comes on very strong. The romance, there's not a lot of chemistry between these two, I think.
It feels so shoehorned.
Flat, yeah. And I don't even really remember what they said in the car and stuff because it's just, I don't feel it. They're making out on, he force kisses her, but she seems into it, I guess.
Does that thing where he kind of boxes her in with his hand on the stoop.
Yep.
And they start kissing and it rings the doorbell.
Multiple times.
Yeah, and that's Walter answers the door in his little bathrobe.
Yeah, he does. But I just remember being in that moment like, why are you slamming your face and you've trapped her here? She doesn't want you. That's the vibe she's putting
pretty
off.
Resistant the whole time. Like,
even if she does like him, she's putting out there, I'm not interested.
Yeah. And not even in a very flirty way.
No.
Kind of in a like
she's blatant. No.
She's got this look on her face like, okay, you guys got one over on me. All right. Kind of that look on her face. And allowing him to kind of throw this all at her, but I don't feel like she's giving him anything else.
I didn't think so either. So when they do kind of start making out willingly, I'm like, wait, what just happened? I thought she didn't like it.
Pretty surprised.
She wants to talk to Joanne. Walter says she's in the basement. She's got so upset she's working out. Clyde goes downstairs. Brittany is bouncing around in the basement. And she's like, welcome to the Brittany Lace Fitness Studio, and has a whole little spiel. Clyde's trying to talk to Joanne, and Brittany is bouncing around sort of talking while she's talking. And she's like, I know Brittany. Okay, thanks, Brittany. And then she's like, why don't you go the hell upstairs so I can talk to your mom for a minute? And Joanne's like, she's like, don't talk to my kid like that. Okay. I respect all of my adult friends and family members and trust most of them to be around my son even when he was young. If any of them did that, I also would be like, don't talk to my kid that way.
Yeah, the tone got really harsh.
It was
and
mean.
It turned into like, hey, man,
Yeah.
she's just being a kid.
Yeah.
And she's a
bratty
shitty
little kid, but that's not your business.
Right.
And she even says to Clyde, you've got a kid of your own somewhere, don't you?
A child we have not spoken to once on the phone, I don't
She
think.
did. At this point,
maybe.
she's spoken to her once. But she spends a lot of time in this movie trying to get a hold of her and just being like, I guess they're eating, instead of like, why the fuck didn't I bring my 16? I would have been like, I haven't talked to my 16-year-old child. She's not answering a phone. She hasn't contacted me. I need to go back home.
Right? The house must have burned down and everyone is withered away. Like, what the hell?
It's wild.
It's crazy. Oh, the 90s.
Yeah. They have a moment in this basement that makes me real sad. They basically decide that they don't like each other. They don't have to like each other. They're just family. I believe Joanne says, if I met you on the street, if you gave me your number, I'd throw it away.
That's so mean.
Yeah, it's really hurtful.
It's so mean, but this is right out. There's no justification for that. That's a really mean thing to say. And following that, Clyde says, well, we're family, so we don't have to like each other. And that is, it's sad.
Mm-hmm.
There's no happy resolution after that. Joanne says, well, can you leave? Exercising is the only thing I like to do, and I'd like to get back to that.
So.
Prior to all that, though, Joanne, she lays into Clyde because she is overwhelmed with taking care of their parents. And Clyde is pretty flippant about it and says,
she's like,
what are they going to do? Die if you don't, do XYZ for them? And essentially, yes, they're getting old and they're getting to the point where they're going to need constant care pretty soon, and they need a lot of care at this point. And Joanne is the only one doing that. And she's telling Clyde that. She's like, I have to take care of this. Mom is behaving like this. Dad hides from everything and is doing this.
Can't remember to take his medicine.
He doesn't remember this. He washes all the cars in the neighborhood. It's like he's, these are the ways he's losing his mind. These are the ways Mom's losing her mind. You're off doing this in Chicago. Tommy's off doing this in Boston, right? Mm-hmm. Is that where he lives? Nobody checks in. Nobody helps. I'm freaking out.
And Claudia's only response is, nobody said you had to do that.
Yeah, you guys come in here, and then when I'm like, what the hell? The response I get is,
so
stop. Just don't. That's not helpful. I have real adult responsibilities, and you guys are playing at life. And I'm really trying hard to actually take care of our parents. I'm kind of sick of this shit.
Yeah.
So Joanne is awful in a lot of ways, but I'm totally on her side
in this regard.
Like in this argument.
Same.
Because she's really struggling and she does not know how to ask for help properly or helpfully.
She's also not having a good time. She's really unhappy.
Her marriage sucks. Her husband, Cash, is king.
Well, he also at the dinner table, when she tries to kind of help him explain what he's talking about money, he says, Joanne, if I can make my own point. And she just hushes up and working out in her basement, this unfinished.
Yeah, she says, this is the only thing I like to do. And she's on a two-step Stairmaster, staring at an unfinished wall in the basement. No TV, no music. There's a washing machine. It's like, well, this isn't even fun down here.
Yeah.
This isn't even like a cool gym.
No. Yeah, it's really sad.
Really
As a matter of fact, I wish that they had spent a lot less time on trying to force Leo and Clyde together and spent more time developing the relationship and the character of Joanne and the relationship between her and her siblings and her parents. And I would have liked to have seen that character development more, because I think that there was more capacity for a more dynamic character that there wasn't time for because of a shitty, unnecessary love thing.
Yeah, the romance seemed really unnecessary. Really like almost like a studio note. You know how they're like, if we're gonna fund your picture, there has to be a romance, a love story or something. Because, I think before we recorded, we were sort of talking about how this movie is charming and the humor is sweet and funny, but not a lot of emotional. There's not like the emotional beats don't hit very hard.
They really don't.
And I think
you could tell that they wanted them to be like pivotal.
For sure. And I think if we'd spent, I don't think anything's underdeveloped other than this sibling, like some of these sibling relationships. But I think this Leo Fish storyline kind of throws a lot off balance.
Agreed.
And so I think
that's the distraction. A lot of people said that Tommy, that his acting is distracting. I guess because he's on the whole time. He's very on. But I find the whole Leo Fish thing to be a huge unnecessary distraction.
I do too. I mean, that's Tommy's character. Mm-hmm. I think people are not separating the actor from the character.
Agreed.
And I think he's playing that character really, really well.
I do too.
I think, the Leo Fish thing could have really gone. We could have done without it completely. I don't think we would have lost. Other than at the end, which I do actually like.
Yeah.
I don't think we would have really lost much.
Right. Yeah, I think that maybe Leo still could have been there, and they just left out a bunch of the gross stuff.
Yes.
And then still be there at the end.
This really strange pushy thing. I think there could have been this, like, I'm interested to see what could happen. I think that element of maybe what if could still be there without this bit of we do end up hooking up and there is all this little flitting about while I'm in town stuff. I just find this really strange.
It's very strange. Okay. They say, somebody asked for pictures from the wedding and Tommy says he didn't take any pictures. And I remember thinking, okay, he didn't tell Clyde, his own sister, he didn't take pictures, and I couldn't figure out why. But you had a point that we had talked about before we started recording when I mentioned this. Do you remember you were talking about how you think that might just kind of be Tommy's style?
Yeah, I think he's the kind of guy who Clyde would be like, what the hell do you mean you got married? And he's like, oh, I didn't tell you?
Right.
Like,
I can see that.
He takes Polaroids. So he does take pictures, but they're instant gratification pictures. He's this guy that zips through life. I think he is living in the moment, and I think he is appreciating the moment. I don't think he's skipping through anything or trying to avoid things like his dad. I think he's just doing
he's
the
living
thing
in the
that
now.
We keep being reminded of now that everyone's attached to a screen. And like, put that down and just enjoy the moment and try to remember the moment. I think he's that kind of guy.
I can see that.
And also an agent of chaos. So, when he didn't tell his most trusted family member and she's feeling hurt by it, I don't think that's done because he's trying to hurt her or exclude
wasn't
her.
Really a thought.
Right. I think it just wasn't a thought.
Sure.
Which is different than purposely keeping someone out of it.
Well, I think it's clear that she's not mad that he didn't invite her, and she's just like, why didn't you tell me? She's annoyed that he forgot, but it isn't brought up again. She doesn't harbor anything.
I think she's just upset because she really loves Jack too, and was like, I would have liked to have celebrated with you guys.
Yeah. Jodie Foster had an interesting remark about this because she has the point of view of someone who grew up kind of on camera. And she said, people think they know me because they've seen me on my life on camera. But the stuff that makes me who I am and that matters was not captured on camera. And this moment between that two people share when there's nobody else knows what happened there in that instant. And it's uncaptured and it's super fleeting. Those beautiful special moments were something really significant to her. And she didn't want them all to be captured in film. What she wanted was at the end to show them as memories. But we see them, they are captured on film, but just as a memory. Mm-hmm. They're kind of hazy. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the things that they talk about in this movie that there isn't proof of, that they don't show, at the end, they give you a glimpse of what those two people together kind of experienced. They show Gladys and Henry under the mistletoe and their kids. They show Henry and Adele with the kids on the tarmac. They show Henry and Adele bowling. They also show Jack and Tommy embracing on the beach at their wedding. And I like that she did that.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
It's a really nice.
It's really sweet.
It reminded me, the vibe of it was kind of at the end of Barbie when there's that soft music playing and kind of, I don't want to say blurry, I guess I'm just going to say soft again, like soft images kind of floating through just to kind of remind you of like the real life that's happening outside of this story that we're seeing.
Right, the moments that we're seeing. Which I think is
nice.
also kind of goes with the fact that this, people criticize the story, which is, I don't also criticize the story, I do. But I also see it as, a slice of life, kind of day in the life, observation type of film where they jump in at the beginning where Claudia's fired. You don't know anything about life before that, really. Yeah. And then they jump out at the end and you don't know what happens. Yeah. It's vignettes, series of vignettes. I like that.
Love that.
Had some funny names in other countries. China called it the annoying family. Some of the ones that didn't make sense to me: home is best, family weekend, a family vacation, holiday house, Christmas holiday. No. Okay, I think you missed the point. This one's cute. Family reunions and other difficulties. And then my personal favorite, Hungary, called it a peaceful family weekend.
Hungary, what's happening there?
Yeah, I think you guys need to take some time away from your family.
Oh, no.
There is a scene towards the end where Clyde and Leo, they get a bunch of leftovers out and they're eating and making out. It's the most disturbing thing I've ever seen.
They're like taking a bite and then kissing.
Yeah. And there's a lot of mouth noises, a lot of breathing and gross. And he's being still so pushy. And she seems into it, but she's definitely into it. But
she's sitting on his lap.
When they're abruptly interrupted, it's almost as if reality hits her and she's like, oh, this isn't what I wanted to do. Yeah. And she leaves. She goes up to her bedroom. Mm-hmm. And then he follows her.
At the encouragement of Tommy, to be fair.
Yeah. Knocks on her door of her childhood bedroom and tries to convince her.
Almost guilt trip her. Because he's like, I know I can't come in.
Yep.
But I want to.
Yep.
It's so fucking annoying.
She even says, I've thought about it, If she really did think about it, then I think she should have just gone for it and then bailed. But that's just my opinion.
Rather than what happens as they don't, and then she gets driven to the airport the next morning. And what seemed like not that strong of a connection anyway, looks at her mom and goes, I really let this one get away, didn't I? And I'm just like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Get away? What? You don't even know him.
He sucks.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He made such a weird flip, such a strange little mask slip happened.
Yeah. To me, it was like
what more is
red
gonna
flags,
happen.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
When he was being cute and nice, you didn't like him.
Right.
And then he turned into a creep and you were like, I guess I let him get away.
I don't think it was a charming change at all. It wasn't one of those, I don't know. It was really yucky.
It didn't work for me. When she gets on the plane and it's fucking empty, by the way.
Like 6 people on a plane on a Friday.
The day after Thanksgiving.
On the way back to Chicago?
From Boston.
Get
or from
out of
Baltimore.
Town.
Yeah, wouldn't happen.
Yeah, right. But it probably did.
Yeah.
It was very early, I think.
Early in the morning.
Super early morning.
Back then, I sat on flights that had 6 people on them, but never anything like that. You used
to have a whole row to yourself.
Yeah.
You could stretch out.
Those were the days. And they also had way more legroom back then.
And their seats were actually comfy.
They were like so comfy.
Piece of paper
Remember
spread over a piece of wood.
Dinner, a meal. What the hell? Anyway. So she sits down in her seat and a man sort of starts to bump her in the head with a lamp.
Giant lamp.
That he got from Aunt Gladdy. And there is Leo. Sits down next to her and he's like,
oh, just thought I'd catch this flight. Up until this point, as I've made it very clear, he's a pushy weirdo. But I will say, during this scene, I do like his idea. Why he's on this plane, I actually really enjoy.
Okay.
The little, philosophy of what he's got going on. So he says, I'm here to be on this plane with you, and I was wondering if you wanted to hear this fantasy that I've had for you. And he's been asking again and again, like, I've had this fantasy, do you want to hear it? And she kept saying, no, I don't, thank you. And
she says no again in the airplane.
Yes, and to be fair, he hasn't shared the fantasy with her. She keeps denying it. So again, she says no. But this time he just goes on and he says, my fantasy is to spend 2 hours on a plane with you and not talk. And basically what he's saying is this could be a moment for us to get to know each other. This could be a moment for us to just be together in the same space. This could be a moment for us to just nap together. This could be a moment where we never see each other again after this.
He literally has a plane ticket.
He has a return plane ticket. He could hop off this plane and hop onto another plane immediately afterwards and fly back.
Yeah.
And he says, whatever you want to do, I just want to spend this time with you. And it can be our secret. No one has to know. We won't take any pictures. We won't tell anybody about it. We don't even have to talk. Let's just be together.
She goes, but what if, and he stops her. That's it.
Yeah.
There is no answer. That's it. The movie then does those little things I was telling you about where it shows the little moments, and that's it. That's the end of the movie.
We do see her kind of either resting or sleeping on his shoulder at one point, and he's looking out the window.
It's also fuzzy like that memory type of thing.
Mm-hmm. And that's it.
That's it.
And I
love
like that. Like,
Yeah.
that seems so romantic and sweet and thoughtful. And I feel like if that person had been the one that had been pursuing her, I would have absolutely loved it and fallen in love with Leo Fish. And I feel like that was the character we met at the beginning.
Yep.
And what that
That
why was it
whole
so
horny
weird
flip,
in
I
the
did not
middle?
like that.
It was so strange.
So creepy.
There's so many fun secrets in this movie. I mean, and maybe not fun. Some of them are probably very unhealthy, but I love fun secrets. And so Adele has a secret stash of money that she mentions at some point. By the way, everyone, it's just safe to have money for yourself in case of emergency, in case you ever need it. Just putting that out there.
Yep.
So she's got a secret stash of money, which she does offer to Clyde at one point when she's figured out that she's lost her job. And she's like, do you need money? I've got it. Your father doesn't know. Henry keeps secret snacks. I love secret snacks. There is a secret pantry in the kitchen where everybody goes to smoke cigarettes. Obviously, there has been a secret wedding that has taken place. And now there's this secret plane ride.
Yeah, I love that.
So I like
So
that
many
there's all
secrets.
these and Gladys' secret love,
Yeah.
you know? I like that there are all these secret little secrets.
Well, there's one major secret too, in that that there's no hint of what would happen after this. It's all up in the air.
Yeah.
I love that.
The whole movie's a secret.
It's a big secret. I want to say this because I forgot to say it earlier. At my wedding, we had Thanksgiving food.
Yes.
That's how much I love Thanksgiving.
Yummy.
All that food that I listed was eaten. The only time it was ever eaten on camera is when Claudia and Tommy are in the kitchen eating. There is no actual consumption of food except for the wine and then the celery stick that Aunt Gladys eats sideways.
Wow.
And that is something that Jodie Foster kind of regrets and says that she would change. She said she was really adamant about that, but then really missed the idea of everybody just kind of digging in and being in the food. And I think that would have been a cool thing to have, some footage of the family actually eating food. There's a lot of passing, a lot of serving, but nobody's actually put food in their mouth.
Yeah.
She threw a fun wrap party where she rented a beach house for everybody and then for some reason just had a giant Thanksgiving feast.
They're probably like, no.
Everyone's probably like, no, I never want Thanksgiving ever again.
Oh, that's fun though.
Yeah.
It probably actually felt natural and nice.
Sure.
As a nice conclusion.
I liked this movie a lot. It has its downfalls, but I think I will continue to watch this, Thanksgiving season and remember how far I've come as not that kid anymore that has to be put in the kid role when I'm around my family and being forced into situations. And perspective, look at my family a little bit differently.
Yeah. Family.
Yep.
Well, I would like to read you two people's opinions on this movie.
Okay.
Thanks to Letterboxd Reviews.
Oh, I do love a Letterboxd review.
So for anyone that doesn't know, Letterboxd reviews are typically pretty funny. They're usually just maybe a handful of sentences that might call back to a line in a movie or a scene in a movie, and just it's pretty funny. Typically, it's not always
it's an in-depth thing,
right? Like an actual criticism or review of the movie. But I am going to summarize one of those for you because I thought it was actually a really interesting, if not slightly, maybe a bit much.
Okay.
You know, maybe we didn't need to go this hard.
Maybe it shouldn't be on Letterboxd, a little more IMDb or something.
You can put it wherever you want,
kidding.
but maybe this movie, we didn't need to go this hard on a movie that's not as, you know, it's a comedy.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was interesting because I had been scrolling through the reviews. I like to see what people have to say about movies I've seen. This one did hit on a couple of the points that I had thought when I was watching it. This review is by Sally Jane Black, and now I'm only going to read part of the review. This is written by a non-binary queer person. There's some language in here that is for them to use and not for me to use, and also it's very long. So I'm going to read the beginning and read the end. The glorification of the blood family is a toxic trait of patriarchy. This idea that we have to accept the violations of boundaries, harassment, violence, passive aggressiveness, and humiliation for some compromised, empty form of love that doesn't even include the fundamental characteristics of liking each other is a chain keeping us tied to the myth of the nuclear family, controlled and complacent with the unaddressed traumas that leave us broken. On top of that, the myth that dysfunctional families are just a different kind of loving family is gaslighting.
Dang.
That's just paragraph 1 of about 6. We end with, the homophobia is at least treated as a negative quality and the homophobe is left crying. But then it inserts this uncomfortable hetero romance where he nags a woman into something, forced kisses and pushiness in the place of affection or consent. It shows the birth of another dysfunctional nightmare and clearly wants us to think it's cute, as if it's the happy ending. Just another lie. The cynicism isn't a critique of these horrible lives. It's just another way of apologizing for them, of normalizing them. Damn.
Dang. I mean, she's not wrong.
Correct.
However,
it's,
calm down.
you know, a little much. So, to cleanse the palate, there's one more. Miles of Smiles gave Home for the Holidays 1.5 stars. And they said, who? These people? They talk? What? Why? Dumped a turkey on a person? Incest vibes? Does not compute. Sorry, Jody. Gobble, gobble.
I like that. That's more my speed, I think.
That's basically what you usually get on Letterboxd.
And that's why I love Letterboxd. All right. Well, should we take a little break?
Yes.
All right.
So, next movie that we discussed was The Ice Storm. That was my pick for joyously uplifting
My, oh my.
Thanksgiving tale. The Ice Storm was released in 1997, directed by Ang Lee.
Yes.
It was Ang Lee's first American adaptation.
Yeah.
It is based on a novel by Rick Moody, who apparently was so excited and moved by the production, and it was so true to the source material that he wept during the closing credits.
Wow.
Yeah. So The Ice Storm is about the Hood family. And the Hood family consists of the alcoholic, discontented father, Ben, played by Kevin Kline. There's a cat in your yard.
Yeah.
The emotionally and sexually unfulfilled mother, Elena, who's played by Joan Allen. Their 16-year-old son, Paul, played by Tobey Maguire. And their 14-year-old daughter, Wendy, played by Christina Ricci.
Another ensemble cast.
Another huge, because I've got more people to present to you. By the way, the role of Wendy was actually offered to Natalie Portman, but she turned it down. She had already been this sort of seductress in a couple films.
Sure.
Most of her credits up until that point had put her in some sort of sexual role, and this is a very, you know, just explorative, whatever word I'm trying to say, role for like a young woman who's coming to terms with herself. And I think Natalie Portman was like, I'd like to not be typecast as that person.
That's fair.
Which is, yes, totally fair. So they are a dysfunctional upper middle class WASP family that lives in New Canaan, Connecticut, and they live within walking distance of their neighbors, the Carvers, who are also a dysfunctional family of 4 that are I'd say, socioeconomic peers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's basically just a rich white neighborhood.
Yep.
The Carvers are the adulterous bored wife, Janie, played by Sigourney Weaver.
That's a big name.
The absentee disconnected father, Jim, played by Jamie Sheridan.
Mm-hmm.
Their 14-year-old son, Mikey, played by Elijah Wood, Frodo himself.
Yeah.
And their 12-year-old son, Sandy, who's played by Adam Hanbird.
That's also Little Man Tate.
Okay. Throughout the film, which takes place over the back half of the Thanksgiving week, so I think we hear a phone call on maybe a Tuesday, and then Paul comes in on Wednesday afternoon, and then everybody has Thanksgiving, and then a lot of the activity actually takes place on Friday. So the story takes place over the back half of the Thanksgiving week, and during all of that, an ice storm hits.
It's a real thing. That ice storm really happened.
Yeah, it was based on a real ice storm, and that ice storm's name, which I guess you name ice storms like you do
I did
tropical
not know
storms.
that.
So the ice storm's name was Felix. And during that time, the lives of these two families cross and intermingle in a lot of messy, messy ways. There are affairs, there are teenage sexual experimentations, there are confrontations, and eventually there is great tragedy. And there's a gorgeous pistachio-colored kitchen shoved in there.
It is.
And that is basically
That's the movie.
the movie. There's obviously a lot that goes into it, but, you know, watch it, first of all. It's really good. And in researching, you know, I watched that movie probably a lot when it came out. It was when it came out on probably HBO. It was probably one of those things when HBO was just a channel that people had on cable.
Right.
One of those movies that kind of got cycled a lot. So I have memories of having seen this movie quite a bit, but I couldn't remember a lot about it, including the fact that it was a Thanksgiving movie, because when we were researching options for this theme and it was suggested as a Thanksgiving movie, I was like, huh?
Because it's the Thanksgiving part of it is such a small.
It really is. It really is. Great. Anyway.
Well, that was fun. No. When I think about this movie, the way I want to sum it up is everybody's saying so much, but nobody's saying anything at all.
It is an extremely subtle movie. It's a very quiet movie. Even this tragedy that takes place, which we'll get to because we'd love to spoil things, it's a really quiet tragedy.
Yeah.
It
like ends in
the
silence.
Violence that could come from what is coming at this person could be, I mean, the potential for literally explosive violence. Yes. That's kind of what you're expecting. And then it's no words, no sound, just the quietest death.
It is so quiet.
I think it's such a great decision.
It's so impactful because it hits differently. And I think that there's a scene when the ice storm first happens and someone's outside in it, and they've talked earlier about that quiet where everything is frozen and still. And I feel like the movie is that.
Totally.
It's that quiet place.
The sound design is so great. I watched it again last night with headphones on.
Oh, neat.
And every outside scene, once the ice storm hits, there's so much crackling and like quiet and ice noises happening in the back. It's really, really well done.
I was a little thrown off by the Native American flutes.
Okay.
I just didn't get it. Maybe because it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe that's Ang Lee's little nod to the true story of Thanksgiving. So there's a great scene during dinner when Wendy, who's played by Christina Ricci, is asked to say grace during Thanksgiving dinner. And she's 14. She's kind of figuring herself out. I think she thinks of herself as a politically minded youth. And so she goes on this big tangent that is almost exactly her speech during summer camp during the Addams Family Values movie when she...
That's funny.
Basically when the natives take back Thanksgiving and burn all the pilgrim villages to the ground. That's done in a very fun way. This is more of a, I don't even think she's actually hard-pressed to take a stand. I think she's more interested in pushing her parents to some point.
Yes.
You know, I think a lot of what the kids do isn't because they feel strongly one way or another. It's because their parents are so absent and off in their own world that they are just seeing how much they can get away with.
Yeah. They're testing their boundaries.
Yeah, which they have none. Right. So what is interesting about this movie, I think, is that Ang Lee is a non-American person of color who perfectly depicts a slice of American life.
Mm-hmm.
It's so well done. And again, it's a real subtle, nuanced movie. Politics kind of loom over the whole movie,
right.
But there's never anything too egregiously shoved in your face. There's no real message one way or another of how we're supposed to feel about the politics. It's just that these things are happening and these families live in this world.
Yeah, it's an observation.
Correct. And so that's why, I think it's interesting that Wendy's got this impassioned speech about the killing of the native people and white man, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And her dad's like, all right, that's enough. And she keeps going. And he's like, I said that's enough. And she's like, all right. It's clear that she doesn't actually maybe she does, but she's sort of figuring this all out.
Sure.
She's just trying to get a rise out of her parents.
Yep.
And
I think she's desperate for a little bit of attention from them. So she's trying all the routes because just being a normal kid is not working for her to get the attention she needs.
Yes. The world that these kids live in is a world occupied by adults that completely missed the sexual revolution of the 60s.
Right.
And they already had, at that time, younger kids, jobs, responsibilities, full lives, but were still of an age where they were probably thinking, what's going on? Like,
right.
I want to be in that. I would like to participate in that, but they just simply didn't get to. And so now that the kids are older and quote unquote capable of watching themselves, even though
clearly not,
and clearly haven't been watched at any point
ever,
because their parents have been so distracted by other people, alcohol, I'm sure pills. That's not a huge part of this movie. It's alluded to a little bit at a scene with Katie Holmes. What?
I mean, in that environment, I'm 100% sure that there's pharmaceuticals happening.
Sure. Alcoholism is really the point that's driven home in this story. They figure now is our time for experimentation, So let's do it. And the kids are just watching their parents do that.
They're literally just emulating that.
And they're not getting paid any attention to. There's no supervision. There's no
direction.
There's no consequences for anything they're doing. So they're like, all right, we're going to
even the conversations, you never actually said anything. You never say what you mean. So I don't know what you want.
Right.
You're not giving me direction.
Right. Because there's this kind of desperate need to be part of this revolution that they just simply missed. There's a lot of sex in this story, and none of it is sexy. It's all like really uncomfortable. It's all awkward or forced. Of course, there's a lot of teens figuring themselves out. It's done tastefully. It's not poorly done at all.
But it's definitely not supposed to be hot. It's very much just the realness of that situation, which is it's weird.
And aside from them being probably a little young for some of the things they're getting into, I think it's probably far healthier than the things their parents are getting into.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, that's another thing I notice when something happens and they get kind of in trouble. And I was just thinking, that was a really normal, healthy kid moment.
Yeah.
And you just ended that in trauma for them. Now they have a sexual trauma.
Yeah.
Forever.
All
you had to do was, whoops, sorry guys for intruding.
Yeah.
And then go away.
Yeah.
And don't talk about it again. They'll be fine. But you can then talk about it without directing at what happened and talk about it and give direction. I should have so many more kids than I have.
Because the parents, again, it goes back to these parents. The thought that I kept having was they're playing sexual liberation, but they live in these suffocating circumstances and they want to they keep doing that to their children. They keep trying to suppress everything, even though they themselves are like, look how liberated I am.
They're pretending that the cycle is broken, but the cycle
Totally.
is still in
They're
full.
fully perpetuating it.
Yep.
That leads us to this key party, which is this central thing that happens in this movie. People are allowed to not participate in this key party. I think it's just a work party for Ben.
I thought it was a neighborhood party, but you could be right.
It might be, but I do know that at some point they have a fight and Elena says, I don't want you to just tote your dim wife around in front of your friends. That's why I thought it might be a little more oriented towards Ben.
Sure.
There's this funny scene at one point where Ben is taking the train.
Kevin Kline.
Yes, Kevin Kline is taking the train.
Sorry, that was really aggressive.
To work. And all the men are dressed exactly the same. They're all in these fedora type hats with long tan trench coats and briefcases. I mean, it's like 50 men on the platform for the train. It's one of those great movie ways of showing you that they all do the same thing every day. They're just trudging through the week. And rather than him coming home and being like, wow, work sucks. That was it. It was just a nice little scene of boring ass dudes.
It was a nice visual way to say something without saying it. Mm-hmm. But that's what this movie does, is everything that it says that means anything that's real is not really spoken.
It's a really great example of showing us, not telling us.
Yes.
At the key party, what kind of starts out like maybe it's going to be fun. You know, they get to Alice and Janney. What? They get to her house and she says, want to play? And holds out this bowl of keys and offers them to participate.
And key parties were trending then. That's right. Everybody was like, ooh.
Yes. Now, from what I understand, key parties, there was a little bit more of, if we're going to do this, this is supposed to truly test our bond with each other. And there was a lot that went with participating in a key party. Whereas these people who
they're kind of missing that important part, right?
Seem to think this key party is just an opportunity to play.
Right.
There is not the overarching implications of what could this really mean.
Well, I just don't think that they're thinking about their current relationships while doing it, which I think if you're swinging or having some kind of open situation and it's working, your relationship is first. Your priorities are you're talking, you're communicating, which nobody in this movie does, and you're making this decision together. Because I don't think that monogamy, I don't think that's for everybody, and I think that that's fine. I do think that honesty and communication is really important, and that's how you have a healthy relationship like that. And they have skipped that whole thing. Yes. And they're literally just damaging their partners right in front of them.
Right in front of them. I mean, that's the whole thing about having an open relationship is constant communication.
Yes.
Constant healthy
and you wouldn't make a choice that would hurt your partner.
Correct.
You would know.
Meanwhile, people are sitting here accusing their partners of having an affair 5 minutes before they toss their keys in the bowl.
That's crazy.
It's so crazy. So Ben, Kevin Kline, and Janie, Sigourney Weaver, are actively having an affair.
Yes.
We find that out pretty quickly. She has she has this great line where he's talking about golf or something, and she stops him and she says, Ben, I have a husband. I'm not terribly interested in having another one.
She goes,
so
you're
essentially
boring
like,
me.
shut the fuck up.
Yep.
There is another time when he comes over for an affair, you know, a midday hookup or whatever. And she says, I'll be right back, you know, contraception, and just gets in her car and leaves.
I love that.
And
she knows what she's got it figured out.
She does, except I don't.
She's not being honest.
She does it all. She
has not figured out anything. She just has the upper hand.
Yes. She knows that she can wield her sexuality as a weapon, as a form of control over these men. But inside, she's a sad, hollow, broken person that doesn't know how to fix that with anything.
She's not being fulfilled
sex.
by this.
Right,
it's not giving her what she's trying to get from it.
Right. This key party, which has the potential to be a little fun in this movie, isn't. So we don't know any of the other characters that are at this party. So for us as the viewer, we're just dreading who's going to get whose keys when it comes down to the Hood and Carver family. Eventually, Janie grabs the keys of somebody else.
Cutie pie.
Yeah, he's a cutie. And instinctually, Ben gets up to be like, no way.
He's drunk.
He's wasted. He trips over the table and makes a complete ass of himself. But meanwhile,
poor wife
Janie's
is right
husband
there.
has seen that, and his wife has seen that. Uh-oh. You just spilled all the beans there, my friend. And you made an ass of yourself, and you're wasted. And Janie was like, gross.
Yeah.
You desperate weirdo.
Right.
Nobody liked that. Over the course of that happening, he's taken to the bathroom to kind of puke it out, essentially.
Ugh.
And Elena, Joan Allen, and Jamie Sheridan, end up offering each other comfort.
They're kind of sweet.
They are.
I feel for them.
They're like, welp, obviously the things we've been suspecting have more or less been confirmed with what just happened. Want to go outside? So then they start kind of making out in the car. Oh boy.
That's the unsexiest sex ever.
I mean, do we even call it sex? That it's maybe 4 minutes of sex.
Not even.
Not even disappointing.
I would say it's under a minute.
It's frustrating for everybody, but you can tell, they're like, I don't know, that wasn't great, but we can maybe try this again. And
it didn't feel like a closed, like it
she's
closed
not
the
there.
door.
She's not shaming him. She goes inside to let her husband Ben know that she's not going to go home with him, that he needs to stay there and continue sleeping off being drunk. He's sitting on the floor in the bathroom like a little sad sack. It does seem like she needed that immediate fuck you to him,
yes,
in her own way, to
proof that she kind of could.
Yes, to go be really soft and gentle with him, where she's like, look, you're not in any shape to drive. I don't want you to drive. It's 1973 in this movie. Only the men drive. So she's like, I've got to ride home. I don't want you to drive me. You stay here.
Nobody's going to wear seatbelts either.
No, they sure aren't. So she gets a ride home with Jim. They don't make it there safely. They have a little slide in the ice and they get kind of stuck. So they actually don't end up hooking up.
Elena has sort of exhibited some behavior that kind of shows that she's itchy. Her skin's crawling. She's been shoplifting.
Yes.
Having some interesting conversations with another man.
Yes. So there is a priest who kind of blows into town out of nowhere and she flirts with him a little bit. He ends up at the key party. What? He does show interest and he drops this okay, if he hadn't been kind of off-putting, it would have been a totally sick pickup line. Because she's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, sometimes the shepherd needs to mingle with the flock. And it's like, okay. Priest?
Yeah. It would work in a sexy story.
But it was like,
it's creepy in
he's kind of awkward and uncomfortable. And she was like, I'm going to ignore that. And it really embarrasses him and he splits. And that's the last we see of him. So whatever. She is toying with the idea of looking outside of her marriage. And there's this really great, mirroring of her and her daughter's behavior at some point because she sees Wendy riding by on a bike and she makes note of how free and wonderful she looks. And right after we see Wendy pass her mother on a bike, Wendy goes to a drugstore and steals a treat, like a little candy bar or a brownie or something.
Yeah.
She gets caught by someone, just some shopper who gives her a disapproving look. And she's like, whatever, and walks out. And her mother, I don't know, maybe that later that day, gets her bike out. You can tell she's like, yeah, it's been ages since I've been on a bike. I'd like to get on a bike. And she rides her bike to the drugstore and she steals a tube of lipstick.
Yeah.
And she tries to walk out the door, but she's been caught for real. And they bring her back in and nothing legal happens. The pharmacist comes out and he's like, ma'am, I think you forgot something. And she's like, no. And he's like, no, I think so. So full adult consequences for this thing that we saw her young and free daughter get away with earlier. Very interesting.
Very telling.
Yep. There's not a lot of, like we were talking about politics, there's not a lot of isms that come out of this movie. We're just living in this world. We don't bring any racism or overt sexism into this. That's just the time that this took place. So whatever sexism was happening, that's just what was common, but it's not commented on. There's not even any classism, really. We're not brought poor people into this, and we're like, oh no, look at the difference. Kind of the only social comment, if you want to say, that gets made is there's a larger woman at the key party, and she picks out a guy's keys, and there's a little bit of snickering at first, but he's like, all right, let's go, and he leaves with her. I mean, it's such a slight moment. It's played for a little bit of humor, but that's also it. It's nothing that really gets harped on.
Right.
So it's just kind of nice. We're just living with these people.
It's just an observation.
Yes. I think you've said that twice now, and that's like such the perfect term for what's happening.
Well, the reason that it's in my head is because I kind of feel that's I mean, there's definitely more going on in Home for the Holidays, but there isn't a great storyline because it's a slice of life.
Yes.
It is 48 hours that surround this person. It's vignettes. It's not supposed to tell a story. It's just a series of vignettes observing what's happening around this family for 48 hours.
Yeah. I love the, like, we don't know how we got here and we don't know what happens after this, but we're just seeing, it's like a short story. And that's what I love about short stories or short films, things like that.
Yeah.
It gives you just this,
I love the mystery
little bit of time, and you're just getting a glimpse of
I know
something.
I've heard so many people be like, I need answers. I need to know. And I like not knowing. I love mystery. I like imagining what could have happened afterwards.
Me too. I think it leads to a lot of...
I don't like everything tied up in a perfect little package because that's not reality.
Right. For me, I think it makes things like this more relatable because you can sort of imagine... I could see myself being in this place if XYZ had led me here or whatever. Or this is how I would react at the end because of my experiences, whatever. I just think it's another way you can, identify with the characters. While all these adults are being utterly ridiculous, the kids are also being utterly ridiculous. Paul, Tobey Maguire, he took a train to New York and is trying to hook up with Katie Holmes. Her name is like Libbets. That's her first name. Everyone keeps saying, what kind of name is Libbets?
What is it? Why is it?
I don't know.
There's no. Oh God, I hate it so much.
It's just everybody's name in the book, so who knows why.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, his roommate's also moving in on this girl, so it's nothing we really need to get into. But basically, he tries to drug his roommate. He goes to boarding school. He tries to drug his roommate out of the picture,
right?
Just get him asleep.
He's like this is this guy's thing. This is what he do.
He always
goes for the girl.
He knows that he likes him. Blah blah blah. Katie Libbets wants in on it too, so she ends up passing out, and he leaves. There's this slight moment of her being passed out and him laying her down on the floor, kind of getting ready to leave her, and then you see this just flash of him thinking, I mean, I could make a move, and then he doesn't, and I really appreciate that. And there's this through line of him reading comic books when he's on the train, going from place to place. And his family is kind of represented by the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, it's paralleled.
Yes. And so I just appreciate that maybe this is a little bit of his like hero moment of like, I'm making the right decision. I think he would have regretted it if he'd done something stupid. That's it. We just leave it at that. But I think it's a nice character moment for this total burnout kid who doesn't give a fuck about anything.
Right.
Wendy she's been playing both Carver boys for a while now. She kind of hooks up with Mikey. She makes out with Mikey a lot. She's doing this like, I'll show you mine if you show me yours thing with Sandy.
I think it's because she's older than him. She's playing with that dynamic of being the powerful one.
Yeah. Yeah.
She knows that he's like...
He's into her.
Yeah.
Or, he's a little boy with a crush on an older girl. And she's
kind of taking advantage of that. Yeah.
But she's watching his mother kind of do that with her father. It's complicated. Eventually, when this ice storm hits, Mikey gives her a call and he says, I'm going to go basically play in the ice.
Well, he's fucking
worst.
He wants that silence. Remember in the beginning when he's talking about the molecules?
Yes.
He's kind of obsessed with that. He's a weirdo. I love it.
I actually really like him.
Me too.
I like when his brother asks for help with his homework and he goes on this crazy, strange tangent. And then his brother, who adores him, Sandy just looks up to him so highly. And Sandy's just got this look of love on his face. And he goes, that's nice, but I just need some help with my homework. It's a really sweet little moment between the two of them. Mikey goes out to play in the ice and asks Wendy to join him. And she says, yeah, maybe. Kind of gives him like an inkling that she'll probably meet him out there. And instead, she knows that Sandy's home alone because all the parents are gone. So she goes over and makes it a fish with Sandy.
Yeah, she sure
like
did. Very adult.
Physically a fish with Sandy. Yeah.
They don't show too much, but they're laying there in bed afterwards. And I remember thinking that they look like they're playing house.
Yes.
They look like they're, he's like, oh, gee, honey. It's got that vibe of we're just playing what we see.
They take like 3 swigs of vodka.
Yeah.
And he is looking at her afterwards and he said, I love you. And she goes, are you drunk? And he said, no. And then they just sort of curl into each other and fall asleep. While that's happening, Mikey is outside just having a grand time in the ice. He's
slipping and sliding all over the
stupid
place.
as shit, though. He's bouncing on a fully frozen diving board
into
over
an empty pool.
An empty pool. I mean, you're like, this kid's going to fall.
It's so scary.
100% going to fall and break his neck. No one's going to find him because it's an empty pool.
Gives me such anxiety.
It doesn't happen. So he continues being out frolicking. Meanwhile, this key party disaster's happening. Meanwhile, his brother's hooking up with the girl he kind of hooks up with. It's all kind of coming to a head for everyone. And Mikey just takes a moment. He'd sort of been, what's the cool runnings sport?
Oh, bobsled.
Yeah,
is that what it
lugeing
is?
or bobsledding, whatever. Down the road, just on his back.
Body, yeah.
He was just sliding down the ice, and he thought that was just the greatest thing ever. And he takes a break, and he sits on a metal guardrail at the curve of the road, just sort of being pleased with himself and his environment. When he starts actually looking around the environment and notices that the weight of the ice has downed a power line. And although this doesn't actually happen when there's a downed power line, there's a live wire, and it's kind of snaking around. Oh, God, this sucks so bad.
He can see it coming.
He sees it coming, and he knows that it's about to touch the metal that he's sitting on. And I can't remember if he says a little something or if he just makes this breath like that. But it just touches the metal, and the camera angle changes, and we're just behind Mikey, and he's just sitting on the guardrail, and he just slumps a little bit and falls forward, and that's it.
It's quiet.
It's really quiet. You can hear the ice creaking. Oh, it's really tragic.
Yeah, it really is.
Particularly because he saw it coming. Like, that was really sad.
Yeah.
And man, he just slides down the hill.
Yeah.
His body slides down the hill because it's so icy. And he's got this bright orange coat on. It's this really striking visual. Jim and Elena are finally getting out of the little ravine that they'd fallen into. They're walking in. Janie had finished her little tryst, and you can tell that she just isn't happy. You know, she comes into the master bedroom and curls up on their waterbed. Ew.
Oh, yeah, their waterbed. It sucks.
But she curls up into this fetal position and just kind of stares. The kids seem to be happy. They're all asleep. Oh, the train is stopped, so Paul is stuck on the train overnight.
That's right.
He's really chilly. Ben, Kevin Kline, he's sobered up. It's getting to be morning. He gets in the car, and he starts driving home, and he comes across Mikey. He brings him back to the Carver house, and this is sort of where everybody meets up again. Mm-hmm. It's interesting to consider
all the dynamics.
They're all running into each other, and so first and foremost, we're concerned about Mikey and what has happened, but I'm sure there's also like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Why are you here? How'd you get here?
Babies.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, Elena opens the door and finds Wendy, and she's like, you better get dressed. And you know, Elena's like, what the hell is she doing here? And you know, Wendy's like, why is my mom here? And then Ben comes in with Mikey, and then both his wife and daughter come out, and I'm sure he's like, what the hell are you guys doing here? He calls for Janie and Jim, and Janie doesn't come down, but Jim does, and oh boy, that's sad.
God,
he like takes his coat off and checks him to make sure he's not alive, and he is not alive. And ooh, it is emotional, and Jim is sobbing and crying out, and Sandy is just standing by himself sobbing, and Janie is just upstairs.
Not aware of it because she's wrapped up in her own bullshit.
Yeah, she's just staring, and she can hear that there's commotion, but she doesn't know what it is yet. And I actually read this really interesting Reddit comment. It was a really excellent summation of the movie and kind of what it has to say. But the point that they made in particular about the ending is that it's important that she's the only person we don't see seeing what happened to Mikey, because it's a good representation of how she is just completely detached from everything and emotionally incapable of handling anything in her life. And this person theorized that if she had come down, chances are she would have probably surveyed the scene, walked over to the bar, poured a drink, and then just gone and smoked cigarettes on the deck, just like looking out into the woods.
Yeah.
She would not have been capable of processing this or reacting to it.
I could
or
even see
doing
her
anything.
just leaving.
Sure. But that doesn't happen. So
No.
we don't see what she does. She just stays upstairs. Everybody's crying. At some point, the 3 Hood members have to go pick up Paul from the train station. And this whole time, Paul and Ben have had a pretty strained relationship. It's very uncomfortable. It's awkward. It's this stereotypical, I can't connect with my dad. I can't understand my young son sort of dynamic between the two of them. And then when Paul gets off the train, he sees all 3 family members standing there. He kind of gives them this sweet smile because he'd been trapped overnight by himself on the train tracks in the dark and cold. I mean, that had to suck.
Yeah.
And he gives them this nice smile of, I'm glad to see you guys. They all get in the car. Everyone's got tears in their eyes. And I assume they told him what happened on the walk to the car because he doesn't seem confused.
Sure.
At some point, his dad just turns around and smiles at him. It's like the first time they've had sort of a moment. And then his dad just starts weeping and sobbing. And Elena is sort of trying to console him in a really awkward way, just kind of patting him. Ben.
Mm-hmm. She wants him to stop making a scene in front of the kids. Like, it's the vibe I got.
Sure. Maybe, but I also think this moment in the car is this like, there might be hope for this family. There might be a chance for everybody to sort of reconnect and actually be there for each other.
The feeling that it left me with that scene was it started with the smile and then the crying. And I was like, wow, this is the moment he figured it out. And then when she started consoling him like that, nope, never mind. They don't have a shot.
See,
because I took it as her being like, we don't do that.
See, I think I only disagree because she could have said, Ben, you're making a scene. But I think...
But she doesn't say what she means. No one does.
No, but I think she's like, in this moment, I'm trying so hard to just be like, Ben, it's okay. But she doesn't know how to do that still. It's been so long since she's wanted to do that for him or could have done that for him.
Sure.
That I sort of saw it as, she's like, I'm trying.
This is my biggest effort.
I
sure.
also just cheated on you, and you definitely tried to cheat on me, so I'm trying. And I just think it leaves room for, if she wants to go down that path, she can.
That's a better way to see it than I do.
But I mean, whatever, who knows?
Well, yeah, everybody. It's you interpret movies
so
however you want.
abruptly.
That's it, right?
It cuts almost in the middle of her saying the name Ben. I mean, it cuts very abruptly. And that's the ice storm.
Oof.
Rough stuff.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you name the horror movie connection between our 2 films?
Can you give me a time frame when this movie would have? Give me a 10-year, maybe more. I mean, I just
not terribly far
from when.
Okay, did these both come out in 90? Both our movies come out in 97?
95.
95 and 97. So around that time.
Okay.
I almost just gave it away.
Is
That
it-
would have been so silly.
That can't be it.
Say it, guess it.
Teaching Mrs. Tingle.
No?
You almost gave it away.
Yeah, because I almost just said somebody's name.
Oh, the faculty?
Yes!
The faculty.
Yes. Stan
Yeah.
from the faculty, who's played by Sean Hatosi, was the little server at the closed diner in Home for the Holidays.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
right.
Yep. And then Elijah Wood obviously is a big part of it.
Good. That's amazing.
Good job.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I'm
fun.
really good about that. I thought Katie Holmes might have been something about Teaching Miss Tim, but I was like, I can't think of anybody else that's in that. But then I didn't really know until you said the kid from the diner. But when I was watching it the other day, I remember seeing the kid in the diner and being like, oh yeah, I love him from The Faculty and a bunch of other stuff. I love that kid.
I don't remember. I don't ever see him, and apparently he's in so much stuff.
He's in that show Animal Kingdom that I told you about.
Yeah.
He's one of the brothers. I love
watched
his
an episode and a half.
I love his character in that. Wow.
I was trying to think. In my head, I see him in Disturbing Behavior, but I think it was a guy that looked like him that was in Disturbing Behavior, which would have put him in another horror movie with one of the cast members because that was Katie Holmes's horror movie. But just kidding, that's not a thing.
Well, that was interesting.
There you go.
Can we take a quick break?
Yep. Okay, so that was that. Our third movie was just the ever delightful Charlie Brown Thanksgiving.
We had to bring it to something a little bit happy after some intensity there for a while.
Yeah, we really had to lighten up the holiday. Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, 25 minutes and 50 seconds.
Perfect.
Perfect. Every movie should be that long. So let's see what happens. Charlie Brown is going to his grandma's house for Thanksgiving with his sister, but he gets a phone call from one Sir Peppermint Patty that says, "Yo, Charlie, I need a place to go on Thanksgiving.
I know you like me."
Yeah, well, okay, let's get into that in a second. She invites herself over. She invites Marcy over. She invites Franklin over. Charlie Brown is melting down.
I love that he never was just like, oh, I actually already have plans.
He hangs up on her and then goes, what am I going to do? I'm not even going to be home. It is, I think Linus, right, suggests to him, why don't you just,
Linus
why don't
is the
you,
voice of reason.
Why don't you just cook
a Thanksgiving
Friendsgiving,
meal.
Essentially, before you go to your family's
No big
Thanksgiving.
deal.
By the way, Linus is full of what I have been calling Thanksgiviganda. He is just full on spreading those lies of, well, at Thanksgiving, the Pilgrims and the Indians held hands and broke bread and they're best friends forever. Amen.
Right.
The whole time.
You're totally right.
It's pretty funny. He suggests that they just kind of have a Friendsgiving. Charlie Brown says, that's great. We can get that done. Let's do it. He gets Snoopy and Woodstock on board to help him cook the little family dinner. They put together a little, table tennis table.
Yeah.
And some chairs, and they have their friends over, and they have snacks for dinner.
Yep.
It's incredible.
Toast. Buttered toast. That, by the way, Snoopy is amazing at buttering toast.
Incredible.
And jelly beans.
Popcorn. Pretzel sticks. And ice cream sundaes.
Yes.
So good.
It's perfect for Thanksgiving.
Peppermint Patty turns into a major bitch. And he's like,
turns into?
You think this is Thanksgiving dinner? Where's my turkey?
So mad.
And Charlie Brown's like, I'm a child. What are you talking about? It's crazy. But anyway, of course, she learns a lesson quickly when Marcy says, you invited yourself over. You're being very ungrateful.
For some reason, Marcy and Linus are the voices of reason, except for Linus is full of
Thanksgiving-anda.
Yeah.
It's really sweet because Franklin is this little black boy that they're friends with. And at one point he says, I guess I should go home and change into a suit. And they go, Franklin, come as you are. And I thought that was just a really sweet little message in the middle of all of this. Meanwhile, they make him sit
all the way
of the
by
table.
himself in the broken chair. And they all just look at him.
my
It's
goodness.
very, very weird. But
the come as you are message was a very lovely
it really was.
little thing.
I also really like that Charlie Brown and Franklin have like a elaborate handshake when they come in. I don't know if you noticed that. I really enjoyed that. So Schultz was urged to include an African-American character by a teacher that he had. he didn't want to because he thought it would be condescending.
Huh.
Which I can kind of understand what his fear there. But then apparently a bunch of her Black friends wrote him letters and really encouraged him. And so he came around, and once he decided he was going to put Franklin in, somebody, I think it was an editor or a producer, tried to say, we don't want him in there, and he threatened to quit.
Whoa.
So he stuck to his, his, what's the word? It's
guns.
very hardcore.
Guns.
There's a hardcore word. Resolve. Sorry, he stuck to his resolve. Thank goodness that Franklin stuck around. Apparently they received a lot of angry letters about Franklin from, segregationists.
Gross.
Yeah, but he stuck to it, and
Good.
Thank goodness Franklin is there.
Well, now
we could have used a few more Franklin.
Totally.
And his friends.
I'm triply excited that they said come as you are.
Yeah.
I mean, but we've got the LGBTQ community represented, although Charlie Brown is definitely some sort of beard for Peppermint Patty.
Sure.
In these early I don't know. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've seen Peanuts cartoons that I don't remember if later they move away from this Peppermint.
I don't think so.
Charlie, like, will they, won't they?
I think Schultz, no, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that Schultz just calls her a feminist.
Okay.
But I think that it's there, and everybody knows it's there. But again, I don't think, I think he really walked a line of, he didn't want to offend.
Sure.
He wanted to be on the right side of everything.
Well, all I can say is I really appreciate as far as they went with her as they did in the early 70s.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
she was wearing pants.
She's wearing pants. They call her Sir.
Yeah.
She hangs out with Marcy constantly. She's wearing
She's a tough guy.
Birkenstocks
She's
or
very
whatever.
assertive.
Her voice is like this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really interesting little character. But this whole very funny, Charlie, I like you. Do you like me? And he gets all blushy. It's like, all right, guys, we know what's going on here.
Yeah. I mean, maybe she's into both.
Also very true. Anything could be happening. Also, they're children.
They're babies.
So nothing could be happening.
So, can I say that this is the first and only time that I've been disturbed by the lack of adults in a Peanuts situation? Now, granted, I never really watched too many things, but I'm very familiar with Halloween. I'm very familiar with Christmas. It almost makes sense that there's not adults in Halloween because the kids trick or treat by themselves.
Yeah.
Adults hand out candy. Christmas, they are throwing this pageant. I could see the adults being like, let's let the kids, practice this independence. What the hell is going on at Thanksgiving? So I just have a few questions.
Okay.
So all of the families sent their kids out on a major holiday?
Where is anybody's family?
Yeah. Okay. So Lucy's not there. She goes home to have Thanksgiving, but her brother stays.
Right?
And has what?
Right?
Nobody's driving them anywhere or anything. All of a sudden, we got to go to grandma's, hop in the back of this car that who knows driving. No seatbelts, just shove in. Yeah. And nobody seems concerned about the children. And it's the first time I remember being like, there should be adults here.
They're cooking.
Are they there?
Knives.
Are they there?
And
they're just watching this?
It's the 70s. They were probably at a key
party. maybe the parents were Jim and Janie Carver.
Yes.
Jeez Louise.
At the end, it's so wonderful because Snoopy and Woodstock basically did the majority of the quote unquote cooking for their little meal. And then everybody leaves and goes to grandma's house. Wah, wah, grandma lives in a condominium. What a funny joke at the end. But everyone's gone, and they pull out a beautiful traditional Thanksgiving meal out of the doghouse. It's really cute.
I thought it was funny that Charlie Brown tells his grandmother, "It's me, Charlie Brown," on the phone.
Oh, I love it.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
It's a good one. It's solid.
It's sweet.
For what it is and when it happened, it's very aware.
Sure.
Schultz is from, or I don't know if he's from there, but he has to be. Santa Rosa, California. That's where my family is. Well, they're from right outside of that, but it's the nearest, almost big place because they live in a blink and you miss it. And that's where Schultz is from. So there's a lot of peanut stuff around that town.
Fun.
Yes.
I love that. I have a would you rather.
I'd love to hear it.
Okay. Would you rather be seated next to Linus at your partner's family Thanksgiving where you don't know anyone else. So you just have to listen to Linus drone on and on about his Thanksgiving agenda, spreading the white man's lies about Thanksgiving. Or would you rather go to a key party where your possible partners are Leo, I'll manipulate my way into your pants whether you like it or not, fish? Janie, no talking, and I might just bail on this whole thing altogether, Carver, or the awkward priest, Father Philip Edwards.
Key party. And I'll tell you why. Keep it mindless.
Sure.
I don't like any of those people, but they're all good looking.
Yeah.
If you're not supposed to be getting attached, it's the key party. Yeah. Be as dumb as you want. I literally don't care. I'm using you for this night.
Even if Janie's like, I have to go get a drink of water.
I'll be gone before she
I'll
is.
Be like, fine.
I left.
Fine.
I left already.
It's totally fine. Yeah, agreed. I can't sit next to a Linus usually for more than like 5 or 10 minutes without being like, my skin is itchy. I've got to get out of here.
Yeah, I might fight you. I'm not one to keep my mouth shut in these type of situations. These days, as a grown-up, I don't want to be in. I want to get as far, far, far away from them as possible.
Yep.
But I still can't keep my fucking mouth shut. I got a question.
Please.
So, would you rather play Thanksgiving Day football with Lucy or with Walter?
Oh, no.
You're screwed either way.
Yeah, I'm going to play it with Lucy.
Yeah.
Walter's way too type A and would yell at me and make some comment on my financial decisions or some bullshit because cash is king. Lucy's just
a kid.
We can just play.
And also, like,
we don't have to be
kids
good.
Are stupid.
Yes.
You're a grown up.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you can handle it.
Yep. And
you'll make her cry.
I can pat her on the head and be like, Lucy, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Lucy, you're kind of a bitch. All right. Should we move on to our favorite new segment?
Yes.
All right. It's Blimpit time.
In my head, this beautiful Parisian music is
we're gonna
playing
have to
and we're eating
make
little
that happen.
delicious treats.
So should I go first? Or do you want to go
I
first?
don't care.
All right. My first Blimpit today is Trevor. Trevor is the short film co-created by Celeste Lessen, who was Ron Drewer, Jenny Johnson Drewer's husband, briefly in Home for the Holidays. So Trevor is a short film. It's about a gay teenager, I think he's 13, rejected by his friends because of his sexuality, and he attempts to take his own life. They realize that some of the people watching this Trevor and relating to it might have similar feelings and might need an outlet. So they wanted to air that with a hotline so that they do this a lot these days. You'll see it. You know, if anything is referenced about mental health or things like that, they say at the end, if you know anyone, and they give you resources. Mm-hmm. Well, they found that no such resources existed specifically for LGBTQ plus people. So that's where they created the Trevor Project, which is now the biggest hotline for LGBTQ people that are struggling with mental health.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Not only that, it's fueled multiple other resources specifically for LGBTQ people, which is really huge because there's what's the word when two numbers compare to each other and one's way off the chart? I can't remember the word, but there's like a fuck it. So there's just
discrepancy?
Disproportionate.
Okay.
There's a disproportionate amount of young queer people taking their lives.
Yeah.
It's really important to have these interventions for young people. And they also anybody under 25. So I think that's important to note because in your early 20s, it's really, really tricky, especially now when you're trying to exist out in the world with this as well. Totally. You may have figured out how to handle it in school or with your parents, but now you got to go out into the world.
You're an adult, but you're not a grown up.
No.
So it's tough. It's really
exactly.
Tough. That's really neat.
There is one more thing I want to say about it, that you can go to thetrevorproject.org and show your support. Doesn't have to be money. You can donate money, but you can also volunteer. You can also just share and fundraise that way with your network, and you can do a lot. So that's my first Blimpit.
I love that Blimpit. Thanks for saying all that. That's really important. It's
Thank
good
you.
Information to have. My first Blimpit is not that.
That's okay.
Mine is really fun.
I love fun.
Yeah. My first Blimpet, I would like everybody to go to youtube.com. It's a website. You may have heard of it. I would like you to look up Outkast's acceptance speech when they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year on November 8th, 2025. It is wonderful.
Okay.
It is a really cool example of community and like the power of art and what it can do for people that bring other people up with them. Outkast is a prime example of I'm not going to forget you when I make it kind of thing.
Yeah.
And also they were just really, really funny.
Oh, I'm sure.
They got up on stage and they were dressed exactly like you would expect Big Boy and Andre 3000 to be dressed. It was incredible. I think I said Andre 3000 looks like a professor from a Wes Anderson film. Like he looks really
I can see it.
Adorable. And Big Boy's just
like
in
dapper.
like a fur and sunglasses.
Yeah.
It's really great. But yeah, and they didn't write anything, so they I guess they're given like I don't know tons about the speech element of the rock and roll a Hall of Fame induction ceremony. So it feels like they're just given like, hey, you can have 20 minutes if you want it. So they were up there. It's so funny. They're just leaning very casually on the podium, just being like, yep, so I want to thank, let's see, Russell. Is Russell up here? Hey, where's Russell? Oh, yeah, Russell, come on up here. Come on up here.
They're calling everybody up.
The stage was full of their friends that just came up on stage with them. Some of them were like not expecting to be up there. You can tell. Sometimes they'd call someone out and they weren't on stage and they'd be like, get your ass up here. And they'd come up there and they'd like hug everybody. And it was so cute, so funny talking about like giving shouts out to Atlanta. So there's this one point where they're just, I can't remember if it was Andre or Big Boy, but they're just shouting out things in Atlanta. And he goes, yeah, I just want to thank some of the stuff that's important in Atlanta. So let's see, we've got such and such elementary school, Monsanto, McDonald's.
Oh, shit.
And then later on at some point they go, okay, well, I don't want to waste anybody's time. It's like, you're giving shouts out to McDonald's, sir.
And
Monsanto. I think we're past that. But it's so fun and it's silly and it's cute and it's really heartwarming. And then the White Stripes were also inducted that evening. And Andre 3000 quotes one of Jack White's lyrics about starting small and moving up or whatever. And he gets really emotional.
Aww.
And he's like, that's us, man. We started in like a basement. And now look, this is incredible. I love you guys. You guys are my family. This is the only thing that's important to me. That means everything to me, that I'm surrounded by artists that also understand that and come from that. So it's really fun. Everybody should look it up. It's on YouTube.
I love that. And I am just so much more excited about an artist that really did start from the bottom rather than being some famous person's kid.
Yes.
So I love that.
Yeah, it's really
Thank
cool.
you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go back to the vibe I had a minute ago. My second Blimpet is called This Land. It's a podcast. This is an American political podcast produced and distributed by Crooked Media,
nice.
Hosted by Rebecca Nagel. She is a member of the Cherokee Nation, a Native American activist, writer, public speaker. The first season follows the United States Supreme Court case Sharp versus Murphy. A murder took place on Muskogee land, which meant that the state of Oklahoma didn't have jurisdiction over the case. So the state argued that the reservation no longer existed due to allotment. And basically that's what this whole thing is about. It's about land acknowledgement. And I think that that's a really important thing, especially to remember around Thanksgiving. Totally. So they're talking about this land in Oklahoma, in addition to the Muskogee Nation. Other Native American nations were impacted by this dispute. Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, and the Seminole Nations were all affected by this. It was 19 million acres. It wasn't a small amount of space. So Rebecca, who hosts it, she won a 2020 American Mosaic Journalism Prize for this.
Nice.
So it's good. I've actually haven't finished the first season yet. I'm currently listening to it. It's very moving, and I'm really excited about the second season. That sounds really cool too. Still focusing on Native American issues in our country.
Cool.
Sorry, I'm sticking with that vibe today.
Thank you for bringing a lot of this up. You know, my blimpets are a bunch of bullshit. So
Fun is great when we need to do fun.
I know. I think, but what you're bringing to the table, get it, Thanksgiving
Woo!
week, is really important. So thank you. That's really cool and interesting. And I look forward to also listening to that.
Yeah, I think you'd like it.
Yeah. My next blimpet is the television program Robot Chicken.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So obviously
fun.
It's been around forever and it's no longer out. But it was a stop motion animation, basically short TV show because
it's like a series of shorts.
Yes. But the episodes themselves are only about, I think, between 10 and maybe 13 minutes long. And so they would often have two episodes
that explains
in like the 30-minute time slot. And then within each episode, it's a series of
vignettes.
Yes, like tiny, just
like
it was
sketches.
Yes, it was sketches that were presented like you were getting a channel change.
That's right.
But it was all stop motion animation, but a lot of it is pop culture references and music references, whatever. And the reason I was reminded that Robot Chicken was so much fun, full of adult humor, bloody violence, just hilarious stuff, was because they did a little blimpet, if you will, about the ice storm.
Oh.
Season 11, I think it was episode 8 maybe. I watched it this morning, and I can't even remember. I think it might be some... like Mickey Mouse and Goofy maybe are somewhere. I can't remember. And somebody is presenting them with a key to something. Anyway, it turns into a key party.
Yes.
And it is very, very funny. And they bring Sigourney Weaver, it's not really her, but it's, a characterization of Sigourney Weaver out to explain key parties.
Nice.
It's really silly. But yeah, it's all on, I think HBO Max has all of them.
Okay.
And it was so fun. I kept telling myself, I'm like, I'm just going to kind of like skip to the thing I want to watch because I'm busy and I got a lot to do. And I just found out this was here. And I just
Robot Chicken.
Just want to see the little clip of the Ice Storm parody. And then I was like, I have to stop myself from watching a ton of these episodes because they're so fun.
That's how I feel about the show. I would watch Adult Swim and it would come on. I'd be like, whatever, I'll just, and then I'm hooked. Mm-hmm. Hilarious. So good.
Yes. And gosh, the amount of work that goes into stop motion.
Oh my goodness, right?
Good for Robot Chicken.
My job was hard.
The end.
All right. Well, we're bringing it back. So my next one is, well, it's a podcast, but it's also, this person also has all sorts of different forms of social media in which every platform involves a very similar thing. So the podcast is called Rising Up with Sonali. She describes it as solutions journalism for social justice, lifting up solutions that bring us closer to economic, racial, gender, and environmental justice. She's so informed. Her name is Sonali Kolhatkar. She is the host, the executive producer. She created this as all hers. She's a journalist, novelist, artist, musician, baker, and cook.
Oh.
She's written several books all on these similar topics. One is called Talking About Abolition, A Police-Free World is Possible.
Wow.
Rising Up, The Power of Warlords.
Whoa.
And The Propaganda of Silence, which she co-wrote with James Ingalls, who's her husband. She's the senior correspondent and writing fellow of the Independent Media's Institute Economy for All project and monthly columnist at Other Words, a project institute for policy studies. This woman is
wow.
Yeah, I'm not even going to keep going with her qualifications because there's so many. So if you're into that, if you need to know what's going on, but maybe can't turn on the news because it's just too much, you're still going to hear it and you're still going to get the really important stuff. But it's approachable. Yeah, check it out.
Great. Cool. Thank you. My final blimpet is a little bit of a call to action.
Yeah.
But it is still just fun. And it is going to seeking out and supporting your super cute local theaters.
Yes.
Because I recently went to a tiny theater that I did not know existed and watched Good Burger, which
Hell
was
yeah.
so fun with, a bunch of tiny children, which was hilarious. And it was just such a blast. And now I am paying attention to this theater's schedule and the things that they're doing, and they're just doing
Shout them out.
incredible things.
Oh, never mind. Don't do that.
Yeah, okay, right. Yes, I should shout them out. They are the Arcaden Cinema in St. Louis on Gravois.
Nice.
It's actually right next to the Heavy Anchor.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's a fun place.
Pretty easy to find. I think they might do collaborations with them and stuff. But anyway, it was really fun. They've got some fun seating. They've got cute snacks. It's a blast. There are plenty of other small theaters around town that I have been to and haven't explored in a long time, especially not since I've started really watching a lot of more movies these days. So I really would like to start doing that, and just made me think we all should be out there doing that. It's really, really fun to go to a giant Cineplex and sit in a super comfy seat and have crazy great sound and have a giant thing of popcorn. That is really fun. It is also really fun to sit in a room full of people that you know and watch a silly movie in the middle of the afternoon.
Or even
no one else.
To go to an obscure showing of
100%.
something, even if you don't know anyone around you, just go see your favorite cult classic in a really small theater or something like that.
Well, and the High Point Theater is a really well-known theater around here, and we recently went and saw an independent film, the independent film Dead.
By Izzy Rowland.
Yes. And
starring Vic Michaelis and Izzy Rowland.
Yes. And it was just such a blast.
It really was. I used to go to, late night Grindhouse, which is another thing that happens here.
Yeah,
it's like a fancy theater now, right?
It is, but I think that's also where there used to be a theater called the Shady Oaks Theater in Clayton that had Rocky Horror Picture Show 2 times a weekend, and that closed, and it had hopped around a bit, and I don't know if they still do it, but it actually also moved out to the De Pere Theater. I mean, this was 25 years ago, so I'm surprised. Whatever this theater is seems kind of cool.
Is it like a big theater?
I don't know.
I like that, but I prefer a little underground thing every now and then. I did go to Portland with my friend, and we went to the original theater that showed Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That's
and
so cool.
We saw that there. It's really, there's a feeling inside of these small theaters. There's a theater in the town that I live in that Nicole and I have been to. It doesn't have the greatest sound, but it's cheap, and it's just kind of fun to go through that really tiny little area, sit in an old tiny theater every now and then.
Yeah.
Cinema, it's not going to be around forever if people don't go to the movies. So, I mean, we love going to the movies. We go as much as we can, and I prefer to see every movie I see in a movie theater.
And a lot of them offer the space for rent. I think it's pretty affordable. So you can have private events there.
Yes.
You can have private screenings there.
You can show anything, too, at most of
can.
those places.
Yep.
Slideshows, even if you want.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool.
So I have an FMK.
I want to hear it.
For the overall episode. This is Fuck, Marry, Kill, Mom and Dad edition.
Oh, God.
So, Aileen, would you like to fuck, marry, kill the parents in Home for the Holidays? What are their names
Adele
again?
and Henry Larson.
Yes. Ben and Elena Hood, played by Kevin Kline and Joan Allen. Or Charlie Brown's parents, who presumably sound like wah, 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 wah.
Kill Charlie Brown's parents. They're useless. They haven't even done anything. They're
let
bad
their children
parents.
Cook in the kitchen dangerously.
Oh my gosh.
So dangerously.
I'm going to fuck the parents from the ice storm. They don't seem emotionally capable of a long-term situation. They clearly can't do the marriage they're already doing. They might, I don't know. They probably are boring as hell in bed, but whatever. I don't want to marry them. And I'm going to marry Adele and Henry because they're precious. They're the goal, right? If that's what you want, is to be married to someone you love and spend the rest of your life with them, and that's all that matters, then they have that.
I agree.
Their house is kind of cute too. And
Yeah.
I don't hate what they've got going on.
Yep. Same. I would marry the parents from Home for the Holidays because it's a real marriage. It's a warm
partnership.
Yes, it's a partnership. It's
not perfect,
it's
but
got its little dings here and there, but you know, they love each other.
Yeah.
I would fuck Ben and Elena. One, I don't want to hear Ben talk about golf, so I'd like to get out of there as soon as possible. And two, I would like Elena to see
needs
a good time as possible.
Yeah.
No strings attached. Go for it, girl. And then, get rid of Charlie Brown's parents. You fucking...
useless.
You guys, go to another key party. Get out of here.
Yeah. Well, I think you just killed the other parents from the ice storm because I'm pretty sure that's Charlie Brown's parents.
Sure.
Okay. I have a fun little game.
Okay.
So we're going to do a dinner table draft.
Okay.
And they're going to come with a tagline, okay?
All right.
Choose one person for a role at the dinner table and then follow it with a tagline. So, one person to carve the turkey. Here's mine. Tommy Larson, launching poultry for the cause.
Okay.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, pick one from all the movies, every character.
Okay.
One person to start a fight.
Okay. I'm going to pick Sir Peppermint Patty.
Okay.
And it's put 'em up if you ain't got a good dinner served.
I like that one. Cool. I said for start a fight, Joanne drops her burdensome cross right on the Thanksgiving dinner table. It's kind of her thing. Okay, what about one person who brought drugs?
Mikey.
Mm-hmm.
And Mikey Carver, carving up brains since 1959.
Okay. I said Paul's friend. I don't know his name.
Oh, yeah.
Paul's friend brought the stuff to loosen up that girl with the dumb name that you have a crush on. She might pass out in your lap. I don't know. Okay, we just got a couple more. Who's crying in the bathroom?
Ooh, everybody.
Right?
All cast. Let's see. I'm gonna say Joanne. The turkey is moist with tears.
Oh, the tears of a martyr. Okay.
Tears of a martyr. That's perfect.
I said Linus.
Aw.
Linus, he may be the thumb-sucking voice of reason, but this little empath gets overwhelmed sometimes.
Oh, Liney. Poor little guy.
What about a person who Irish goodbyes, like just is gone halfway through dinner and doesn't come back?
Tommy.
Okay.
Tommy Larson. I ain't got time for this shit.
That's a good one. I said Snoopy. Snoopy might sneak out after the toast is gone. I was going to say he's going to go to a key party. He's got a key party to attend. But then I remembered he's just got a fancy feast at home. It's better than the toast he's given you. Cool. I have one more.
Okay.
Who gets I call this one the fold out chair of shame. Who's the worst guest?
Ooh, the worst guest. Oh boy, there's been some rough ones.
There really have been.
Okay. Worst guest. Janie Carver. I literally could not care less about what any of you are saying or what's going on.
Truth.
Here. I'm also going to smoke cigarettes at the table the entire time.
Are you guys still here? I love that because she truly doesn't give a fuck.
Really doesn't.
I said Brittany Lace. Mommy, I'm too bored.
The most exciting thing that's ever happened at any family event ever just happened, and I hate it.
She's straight up awful, and I hate her face.
Worst.
That's that game.
Okay, well, I have a little question for you.
Okay.
Cast Jackie Boy in any role in any of the 3 movies. That's all you got to do. You don't got to get into it. Just cast him in a role that would be fun.
Okay, give me a second. Mm-hmm. Tommy.
Great.
Right?
Great.
Because I need that intense performance that I think he can do. He's hilarious, but doesn't really get an outlet for that a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I think he played a character who questions their sexuality maybe once or twice, but he's never played an out gay character before, and I love that. Mm-hmm. I think he would nail it.
Yeah.
He's so hot.
Tommy's a really good character,
Mm-hmm.
so I think he could do. He's like a deep, like there's a lot of depth.
I think it would be a waste to put him in a lot of the other roles. I thought for a second maybe Leo Fish just because sexy and like it'd be nice to have a hot guy in that role that like maybe I wouldn't be so mad if he kind of pushed me up against the wall and kissed me.
But then that would
I'd be mad at
away
him.
from the
Yeah.
Leo character because I don't know if it's intended, but I think it's interesting that Leo like switches. A little
Yes,
bit.
I agree. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with who did you pick for that?
Snoopy. I think it would be so cute to just watch him be like, "Ah!" and cooking in the kitchen and just being totally chaotic.
That's
and like
adorable.
super fun at the table with the kids and everybody's eating. And then Peppermint Patty's a bitch and he's like, "You don't like my food? Bye."
I'm gonna go make a fancy feast for me.
Goes and eats with his little best friend all he wants to eat.
I love that.
Yeah, I thought that would be fun.
Okay, I'm into it. If Schroeder was in this, I might have picked him. Schroeder's my Peanuts crush. He plays the piano.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's cute.
Okay. I've got just a question.
Okay.
Of all of these Thanksgiving celebrations, we've got the hectic family meal at home for the holidays in Baltimore. We've got the very boring, quiet, kind of cold. What's the word for a hospital? Stark. There's a word for it. It's like clean and
Yeah.
weird. Sterile.
Sterile, yeah.
It's a very
yeah.
sterile vibe for this. Just middle of the day, weird ass Thanksgiving. Or toast, jelly beans, all that Friendsgiving with your favorite animated friends.
So what was the question?
Which celebration would you prefer to attend?
Obviously the snacks for dinner Friendsgiving. Yeah.
I'm going home for the holidays.
Okay.
It's because it's my comfort zone.
Sure.
It feels kind of like the chaos of a family.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Thanksgiving food, and their food looked really good.
Got it.
I really want those sweet potatoes that Joanne put inside of an orange.
Uh-huh. I don't care about Thanksgiving food because it's hard when you don't eat meat. I mean, I love the sides, obviously.
But a lot of them even contain meat, like
they do.
stock.
When it's not all kind of together for a reason with a centerpiece of a turkey, it's like,
yeah, I can
don't need all that
imagine.
stuff. Or you can have it and then
Whenever.
something else.
It's not this. Yeah.
If
yeah.
there's a totally different vibe to eating it. Also, I just don't like an all-day affair at a place that's not my house.
That's fair.
I don't like being in a dress and tights from early in the day until late at night. I don't really wear that anyway.
What is tights?
But like,
just kidding.
You know, it's just this like obligation to be present with a particular group.
It almost
for
feels
a certain
fake.
amount of time.
Fake smiles and stuff.
Totally. You've got to like put up with all the drama.
There's a lot of wine there, though.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That does help.
My whole thing is Claudia. I know she's got weed because she's smoking weed in her
Yes,
bathroom in
yes.
the beginning. There's my favorite food, and I'm not in that family.
Yeah.
So this could be very entertaining just to observe.
True. It is easier to be a
Yes.
guest at something. But then I also feel like, when do I get to leave here?
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
want that.
maybe I'd have to drive myself.
I need my sweatpants and I need to be able to use the restroom when I
Sure,
need
sure.
to. And
I
I
would.
don't know how I can do
Mine
that
would
in
have
this
to be.
house.
I'd have to have a way to be like, well, that was delicious.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Have
I
a good
would
night.
not want to be like driving with somebody there.
No.
I would absolutely require Frank the cat to hang out with me the
Yeah.
entire time.
Yeah.
Or else what?
Well,
am I
he seems
doing?
willing.
He does. He's sweet.
He likes all the guests in the movie.
So I can see that if you're down for Thanksgiving, that's
I kind of crave it sometimes just
Yeah.
because I don't
Yeah.
get it very frequently. So when I see it, it's sort of nostalgic. I definitely have a longing for a thing that never existed or something I've created in my mind as far as what I imagine should be. And I'm working on that. I'm disconnecting. I have all the things I said in the beginning are true. I love my non-tradition. I have allowed myself that it's okay to not go or not do Thanksgiving, but there is still that part of me that family,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Meanwhile, I'm like, is this over yet? And
Sure.
can I eat junk food?
And if I was
Awesome.
there,
Bye.
I'd be like, I just want to go home and take my tights off. Right. Okay. I just got one more question and then we'll leave it.
Okay.
If you were having Thanksgiving and you wanted to bring a date, who would you bring from these movies?
Ooh, good one. Oh, wow.
Think to your family Thanksgiving.
Sure. My personal family, who would I bring?
Yeah, the Thanksgiving that you will be having in a few days.
Yeah.
Who will you be bringing? Or, well, yesterday. If we're talking about when this airs.
Right. Ooh, boy. I think I'm not trying to be just a charitable person, but I think I might bring Elena. Because I think she really just needs a break, and my family's hella chill. It is.
She could relax.
Just come
I can attest to that.
Sit down. You don't have to cook, Elena. We got this.
You don't have to fuck strangers or your husband.
Right. The rule out at our family's property is the first time you're there, you don't have to do anything. Every subsequent visit after that, you might be assigned a chore.
Sure.
It might be something like, taking the trash out to the trash bin, something light.
So the more you go, the harder the work gets.
Not necessarily, but you will be asked, something might be asked of you, visit 2 through whatever.
Right.
But visit 1, you're only there to appreciate the scenery and relax.
I can attest to that.
Yep.
I was told to sit down and enjoy myself.
And so,
even though I was being dumped over the phone, over via text message by the guy I was dating's friend.
Oh my God. We cannot.
Happy eclipse.
We cannot.
I'm not saying anything else.
I'm dying. I forgot because the day had been so chaotic with a
was.
former friend pretending she was dying in the water.
It was
so
a whole
bizarre.
insane experience, and then that.
Oh boy,
to top it off.
But anyway, Elena wouldn't have to go through any of that, or if she did, she could hopefully just laugh. Just laugh a little.
I think that it might take her a minute to relax, but once it happened, I feel like she would not want to leave.
Yeah, and the thing that's nice about bringing one-offs, or what does my grandma always call them, stragglers,
tag-alongs,
to family events is I never feel responsible for that person because everyone in the family is outgoing enough.
Yes.
I'm probably the most introverted person in my family.
Wow.
And so I know that everybody else is going to
embrace,
make them feel
so
welcome,
warm,
involve them in some way, understand that maybe they're not, maybe they're feeling a little reserved, and they'll kind of let them be how they need to be, but they'll still engage with them. Plus now at this point, we've got little ones running around.
So many distractions.
So, you can't deny that that's cute.
Your family, they've always just been so kind and open to me. Even though your grandmother doesn't ever recognize me, she's still so nice to me. Yeah, I can attest to that being a very comfortable place for a stranger to have Thanksgiving.
My oldest friend, I've been friends with her since we were 5. My second oldest friend, I've been friends with her since we were 9 or 10. My grandma doesn't know who they are. So it's okay. You're you're third in the list of who?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Well, what's funny is every time you're it's the Aileen carried your couch.
Yeah, that's right.
And she's like, oh yeah.
First memory she has of you is how she'll remember you forever.
I love that.
It's really funny.
Well, I think that depending on some things, I think I'm going to bring Wendy. She's really interesting. I want to know more about her. I think she needs to see some world outside of where she is.
Absolutely.
And that would certainly be
maybe
where I am.
Positive adult relationships.
Yes.
Seeing how people actually interact with each other and love each other.
And also the place I'm going has a lot of kids ranging from very small to adults now, and they all love each other. They take care of each other. They're very sweet, and their parents are very involved, and I think that it would be nice to see that.
Yeah, we got you, hood girls. We got you.
However, if Jack O'Connell is playing Tommy, he goes with me. Or if he's playing Snoopy, he goes with me.
If he plays Snoopy, he's coming out to the country.
Hell yeah.
Well, I just have one final question for you. Would all of these movies be better if everyone was played by a cat?
As long as they're real cats and not CGI weird genital-less cats.
Oh my God.
We did it again.
We did it. Well, I hope everybody had a great holiday, and if you can avoid shopping this weekend,
please do. If you can't avoid shopping this weekend, please shop local.
And if you can't avoid shopping this weekend, then just save it for the following weekend, December 7th at Four Hands Brewery, when the holiday bazaar takes place. Noon to 5, free to shop. All are
Wait.
welcome. Thank you.
Can I get all my Christmas gifts there?
I'm fairly certain there's a wide array of vendors and people and all kinds of things that will make your holiday dreams come true.
Perfect. I will see you there.
Okay, well, happy holiday weekend, everybody.
Thanks for listening.
Thank
We will
you.
see you next time.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye, bye,
Bye.
bye,
Bye. Bye. Bye.